This is Queen Jean. What it do? It's that time for a fabulous West Side Wednesday vibe on the G-Lew Show. Sit back and enjoy the view where they doing it at. Peace.
This your girl Candace. You listening to the G-Lew Show. OG.
Big Flossie on the mic. What's going on with it?
Thank you, man, for showing support, man, and supporting me tonight, homie. Much respect.
Oh, man, it's not just tonight. It's all the time, a lifetime, man, because I like how you do your thing, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We need something like this for the sunny, for the low riders. I was just out hitting Western and Crenshaw. They out dipping tonight.
Welcome to Westside Wednesdays, the G-Lew Show. I am G-Lew. I'm assisted by my co-host, the lovely Miss Queen Jean. Good evening, Queen.
Good evening, G-Lew. How are you this evening?
Doing pretty good. Well, as far as I could tell. We're back at it once again. December 11, 2019, and tonight, we got a classic on our hands tonight. We got a classic individual, a legendary figure. This is Westside Wednesday, so we're talking West Coast hip-hop foundation type stuff, and we have a legend, one of the guys from the beginning who started it all and set it all off per se. Started with some guys you may have heard of, Dr. Dre's, Alonzo, Wreckin Cru, Yella, and all of these legendary figures. So, our special guest for the evening is the legendary DJ Clientele of the world-class Wreckin Cru. And we're here with us now. So, Queen, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest and bring him on into the show?
Sure. Good evening, DJ Clientele. Welcome to the show. Come on in and holler at us. You're welcome. How are you this evening?
Oh, I'm lovely. Man. I hope y'all doing all right, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doing good,
we're good.
excited.
We're good. Yes, sir. Hey, what's up, Clientele? This is G-Lew, man, of the G-Lew Show. Welcome to our show, man. It's definitely an honor to have you here tonight, man. Welcome, man.
What's up, G-Lew? West Side Wednesday, baby. Nothing wrong with that, man. West Side all to the fullest. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
We got to take them there tonight. We got to take them there.
Get it.
And, we got the name Westside Wednesdays, and you personify that name to the fullest, man, because, you are from the West Side, and all of that, and pretty much started all of this West Side stuff. We can call West Side Wednesdays, West Side hip hop. You pretty much had a hand in starting it all, from way back in the day. So if you could, first of all, man, I like my guests to come in. I introduce you, man, but you can only introduce yourself the best way you can. Way better than I can, man. You're a legend and all that, man. But let the people know who we got right here with us tonight, man. We got people listening all across the world, so let them know, man.
Dope. Nothing wrong with that, man. No, I appreciate that, and like I said again, I'm glad to be here this evening. Glad to be 10 toes down in the land of the living, and it feels good to breathe for sure. So shout out to that. I started out in the 80s with a group of DJs. Actually, first I started out in a DJ crew called the Invasion Force, and that included Joe Cooley, DJ Joe Cooley, DJ Aladdin, DJ Speed, who else? Crazy Tunes was with us later on.
Wow.
And a guy named New York Nick.
Okay.
Yeah, and a cat named New York Nick and Carlos. And, we started out, putting nickels and dimes and quarters together in high school, doing little parties and, trying to get little backyard boogies and, little kids' birthday, whatever we can get, what kind of jobs we can get and what have you, to hone our skills as DJs. And we were trying to be entrepreneurs and businessmen. But even before that, I had a little crew of rappers. It was me, my cousin, Richie Rich, and my friend Midnight. And, we had a little rap crew, and we would go around and do little raps here and there, and, do little talent shows. And one day, Disco Daddy, Michael Calfani, saw us. And he said, man, you guys got something. Y'all got to keep going with that. Well, we had a little secret weapon. My friend Midnight, he was in Catholic school, and his mother put him in all these, fancy dance classes, and all that type of stuff. So he knew how to tap. He knew how to do ballet and all of that. So I would be rapping, my cousin be rapping, and then, Midnight, all of a sudden he'll rap, and he just break out in some kind of, dance move, and it just, blew the crowd away. So we did that for a while. Then formed the DJ crew with Joe Cooley and those guys in Compton. And, we kind of started to grow a little bit, but we were kind of stuck at a certain level. So we wanted to see how the other DJs were doing it and how they were being successful. So we started going to like Uncle Jam's Army parties, and we started going to like the Eve After Dark where the Wreckin Cru was, which was in our neighborhood.
Right.
And we would, you know, look at the DJs and look at the equipment and see how they were mixing and scratching and what they had hooked up. And we're just basically getting pointers and all that from them, taking notes. And so we started to get better at it. And we started to then do, you know, bigger dances and school dances. And then we started promoting our own stuff. Well, as a crew, you know, we had DJs, yes, but I was the rapper in the crew as well. So I would DJ and I would rap because I battle rapped and did all that stuff too. So one day we went up to the club Eve After Dark to check out DJ Yella doing his mixing. And Lonzo said, yeah, well, next week we're going to have a rap contest up here. Bring your best rhymes, you know, and, you're going to win $100, right? So I had another buddy of mine named McKinley. We would do raps sometimes together. We would do like harmony raps or, you know, bounce off each other like Double Trouble, Run DMC, and those guys. And so we worked on a routine all that week. We was like, yeah, we're going to win this contest, man, hands down, ain't no problem. So that day of the contest, McKinley decided to flake on me. Oh, man, I can't make it, you know. So I said, man, what am I supposed to do? He said, well, just do one of those, you know, raps you do with Joe Cooley, because me and Joe had a little call and response routine and that kind of thing. So I had little raps already prepared. Right. So went up there to the club, the MCs, they were cool. Some up there doing their thing. They were rapping. But I noticed they were only rapping about themselves. Like, yeah, baby, I got this. I got the fly Fila. I got the Gucci, wah, 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 whoop-de-whoop. I said, you know what?
Right.
Hip-hop is about the people. It's about the culture. It's about the crowd. You got to get the crowd engaged. So, yeah, I said, I got this, no problem. So I jumped up there, went through my call and response routines. Crowd went crazy. I won the contest. And, Lonzo, he pulled me to the side. Said, hey, man, you real good, man. Yeah, you real talented. You live around here? I said, yeah, man, I live right in the neighborhood. And he said, man, I want you to come back Wednesday, and I want to talk to you. I said, okay, yeah, that's cool and all, but where's my $100, So I said, well, I guess I better come back Wednesday because this cat owed me some money now. So I went that Wednesday, and I noticed this little skinny kid on the turntables practicing, and I knew the dude from junior high school. I remembered him from junior high school. I said, oh, that's Dre. So I went in there, talked to Lonzo and everything, and, Lonzo said, yeah, man, I'm looking for, I've been looking for an artist like you. I'm thinking about making some moves, doing some records, recording, and all that kind of stuff. And that's back at that time, none of us knew the first thing about records or recording or anything. I'd never been in the studio before, didn't know the first thing about it. But I wrote, rapped and wrote rhymes and spit and did a lot of, battle stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm still listening to him like, yeah, that's all cool, but this dude ain't paid me my money. So finally, he finishes his little spiel and everything. And so, yeah, I said, man, yeah, I'll think about it. But I was already with another crew. So he did pay me my money. I said what's up to the dude, the skinny dude on the turntables. And then I left, went back to my crew. I talked to them and said, man, you know what? This could be something good for all of us. When I get in there, I'm going to pull everybody else in. We're going to make it happen. And I did. Actually, the crew, and they got kind of mad at me sometimes when I would pull Joe in to do DJ sets with me, because what Lonzo didn't know at that time, even though I was a rapper, he didn't know that I was a DJ too. So that was just the icing on the cake. So I joined the crew probably around the same, probably that same week that Dre joined, because the rumor is Dre snuck up there to practice, and so we joined around the same time. And I said, well, if he's in it, it's something cool, because me and Dre were friends in junior high school. Rest in history, we went into the studio, recorded our first record called Slice. And, it might have sold a few copies, but we learned the business. We learned how to, distribute. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have social media. We had the soles on our feet, and we had to go to mom and pop stores, absolutely, sell it out our trunk, sell it at swap meets, sell it wherever we could to sell some records. And eventually we hooked up with Greg Mack from K-Day, because Greg Mack had just fired Uncle Jam's Army, and they needed another DJ crew to do their Saturday night mixes and do remotes and stuff like that. And so while we were doing that with K-Day as DJs, we also started going back into the studio and recording, more songs as artists. So we were kind of splitting our time between being a mobile DJ crew and also being being recording artists. And we didn't start that until I joined the crew.
Right.
They didn't have a rapper at that time. They just didn't have an artist. So that's how I got into that. And rest is history, man. We started doing songs and started getting more recognition, started touring a lot more. At that time, though, what a lot of people don't understand is hip hop wasn't really taken that serious. Yeah, we had, Curtis Blow and those guys, Run DMC and, the Sugar Hill Gang and all of that, but rap was even then still looked upon as novelty.
Right.
Really serious musicians didn't take us serious. The record industry certainly didn't take us serious. They wouldn't even look in our way, So a lot of what we did, a lot of noise we made it on our own. But once we started making that noise, that opened the door for a lot of other artists, to come through. So that's where the whole pioneering, thing came from. We took a lot of hits, man. We took a lot of knocks on the head, and we still took a lot of, we took a lot of criticism. And even to this day, we take criticism sometimes because people look at they look at their album covers. Oh, they wore those silk shiny suits.
Yeah,
but the reality was.
But at first, that's what
was
going on at that time.
Exactly. And we performed with R&B acts, so we would look way out of pocket if we were up there, in our jeans and T-shirts, and you had Cameo and Climax and Timex Social Club and all these other groups, in their little fancy stuff, and here we are coming out there looking crazy. So we had to sort of, acquiesce to that kind of style for that time period, and but that's
right.
That's it, man. That's the history. Working with Dre and Yella and eventually Ice Cube too. Ice Cube came along, and he was with KD and Sir Jinx, and they were in a crew called CIA, Crew in Action, and they would open for us. And I mentored them quite a bit. Ice Cube and KD, I kind of took them under my wing and showed them the ropes, helped them out of rap and do all that kind of stuff in the studio. But yeah, that's it, man.
Right. And you said a whole lot right there, man. You gave a real.
He gave us a spiel.
And I want to get to some more of that, but spill as he said, as he would say, right? But let me go back a bit. First, when say like when you were doing your contest and all that at Eves After Dark. Take us back to that time at Eves After Dark, Lonzo, what was going on around that time. And when you were up there, like the contest, were there any other MCs at that time that people may not know who may have made it big later or didn't make it big? I know it wasn't a lot of MCs at that time, but were there any, we know about Dre, who wasn't even rapping at the time, Ice Cube, but were there any other MCs that we may know of? Nah? Okay.
No,
okay.
Most of the cats were local. Yeah, most of them were local at that time. And again, no one had recorded anything yet. This was like, brand new. I think the only group really at that time that had like a record out that we kind of knew was Uncle Jam's Army, and that was self-produced, self-published, self-distributed. And that was like maybe one song they may have had out.
Right.
Rappers Rap.
Right.
But they were, also, Rappers Rap group was more of a
Rappers Rap.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had some of them on the show before, and they were pretty much the first, like you said, to do it. Besides Ice-T, which were around with them at the time. Shout out to them. Let me ask you this too, man. You grew up in Compton, in the Village, which was I want to ask you, how was that process for you? How were you able to come out of there and do music but not get caught up in the gang thing, because that was a gang area and, the village town and all of that. How were you able to escape all of those things early on?
Well, I it's funny you asked that question because one of the things that my mother and my grandmother and my aunt did was they kept us busy, me and my cousins and my brothers. They kept us in sports. They kept us involved in, the Sea Cadets, and they kept us involved in acting and in music. And we were so busy, with that between school and working and doing all of that, we just didn't have time to get into that heavy, even though my cousins did. And I had friends, who were involved in that and stuff like that. And the bottom line was they knew my mother, and they knew she didn't play. So it was more like, yo, man, we know your moms. This ain't for you. You just keep doing that music stuff. We got you. We got your back. They my homies to this day. You know, I grew up with them, and we friends to this day. And some of them actually are now, I can say, family, because like a couple of them, have relationships with my family. So it was more
right.
like at that time it wasn't like the people who did gangbang were concentrated more in a particular area. So it wasn't like, you had to get put on, or you had to get jumped in at that time. A lot of cats was like, yo, I'm a this, or I'm a that, and they were that. But yeah, they were all my homies and everything. But it wasn't any pressure, to join or to do anything. If somebody came, through and tried to confront, folks in the village, they didn't expect me to go, yeah, man, let's go. Let's hitch it up and go ride. It wasn't like that. It was more like they understood who I was, what I was about, and they just had my back. If anything did go down. And just like, my cousins and them, I split my time in Campanella Park, and those guys in Compton. Same thing.
Okay.
I played sports with them. I played, baseball teams with them and football teams with them. So, it was just a level of mutual respect, and that's what it was about, man. So that's how I sort of missed that whole gang situation. Grew up around them, hung out with them, but when it came time to do the crazy stuff, I wasn't involved in that.
Right. Okay. Respectful. Go ahead, Queen.
DJ Clientele, can you tell the audience what clientele represents? I know what it represents, but our audience may not know what it represents. It's pretty deep, so if you can just share that with the audience.
Well, yeah, it's a twofold thing. When I was trying to come up with a name that represented, me, and just kind of knocking around and trying to prove myself, I decided that, well, you know what, listen, if no one is going to believe in me, I'm going to believe in myself, because in business, your clientele, frequent your establishment, they support your business, and they believe in your product, right? So I said, well, listen, if nobody's going to believe in me, I'm going to believe in myself, and that's how I became my own clientele. So it's kind of a roundabout way of saying that. But it also stands for Cultural Lyricist of Intelligence and Teacher of Enlightened Learning. That's the acronym as well. And that's what's up.
Yeah. Also,
that's heavy
I'm
right
from
there.
Compton,
that's heavy.
as well. I'm a Compton native as well, and
dope.
I wanted to ask you about your relationship with Eazy-E. If you can just kind of share that with us as well.
Eazy was a friend of mine, and Eazy, in fact, he and I, towards the end of his life, Eazy was always trying to recruit me into NWA, and I had an opportunity to join, but I turned it down. And the reasons why were several. One, I was in college at the time in the the Black Studies department at Cal State Fullerton, the African Studies department, and those professors they didn't play that. They knew what the whole NWA thing represented. They didn't play that, so they would have been on my ass, about that situation. And I didn't want to portray that program in a bad light, because there was only so many of us in that department, and only so many of us at that time at Cal State Fullerton. I don't know if you know Cal State Fullerton is. It's in Orange County, which is very, very, very Richard Nixon country, very conservative, waspy area. So they didn't play that. I even got into some conflicts with the white area and resistance out there, but that's a story for another time. But that, plus I had already signed a contract with Sutra Records, and Sutra was a New York-based label, and I was working out, doing my album, with them. I'd already started actually working on my album. I was up maybe 5 or 6 songs in, and at that time, Eazy didn't have the money to buy me out of that, contract, and then, bring me over there. They were just really trying to get their feet wet. And again, even though they're my brothers and all of that, but I just had other obligations to deal with. So, it was not a slight on them or thumbing my nose up at them. I wished them well and was happy for their success, and still am to this day. But it was just the circumstances didn't really permit me to be involved in that. And plus, what they were representing at that time, that's not that wasn't me, you know, and I can't fake the funk. Not to say that they are, because you know they had some legitimate people, you know, and who did, you know, put in work, you know, for the hood and for the streets and all of that, but just wasn't me personally. So those are
it wasn't a part
factors.
of your journey.
Yeah, exactly. So those weren't the things that you know, sort of, you know, guided me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and listen, I also heard that your dad was a friend of Jimi Hendrix, and your mom, did she sing with the Hawkins singers?
My grandfather and Jimmy were best friends.
Okay.
Yeah, they were best friends. In fact, he discovered Jimmy. The story he tells is Jimmy was sitting in a hotel room or a hotel lobby, and he had a studio session next door. But he didn't have a guitar player, and he happened to walk into the lobby and he saw Jimmy sitting there. He said, "Hey man, you look like a guitar player." And at that time, Jimmy had hocked all of his equipment and put it all into a pawn shop. And Jimmy said, "Yeah, I am, but I don't have a guitar." And so my grandfather said, "Well, I happen to have one in the trunk of my car." So they went and got it. And Jimmy said, "Well, there's another problem. I'm left-handed." So they had to switch all the, you know, strings around and turn it around. Yeah, and so Jimmy went into the session and played for him, and they were friends ever since then, best friends. They had songs together. And even after Jimmy came back from London and did the Experience, they did 2 albums together after that. But there's so much there's so much history with those two, but then there's so much legal stuff tied up that I have to be really careful about what I say, you know, in terms of Jimmy and in terms of the Experience and in terms of, not that we don't have a bad relationship with the Experience and Jimmy's family, but we just don't have a relationship at all, you know. And but they did. They were best buddies and best friends. My grandfather wrote 2 books about them, you know, and all that good stuff. And as far as the Hawkins family, you know, the ones who made Oh Happy Day, yeah, they were related to them. And my grandmother was in a gospel group. My father, he played the horn, and my mother was an athlete. She ran track, so that's probably, you know, that's where I got a lot of the, you know, that athletic stuff from. But the music stuff came from, you know, my grandfather and father's side of the family.
It's in the DNA.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, huh?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, because "Oh Happy Day" was always played in our home. Like "Oh Happy Day," that was always played in our home.
Yeah, and the irony of that is that they ended up signing a deal with the same guy that I later on ended up signing a deal with, unbeknownst. You know, they happened to meet him at one point in on their journey, and I happened to meet the same guy at another point on my journey, but the exact same person, which is kind of wild. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Artie Rip. Shout out to Artie Rip. Artie Rip is still alive to this day.
Artie Rip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you, clientele, like you spoke about the NWA thing and all of that, and that was something you couldn't really, you know, be a part of, like you said, for numerous reasons. How did you feel, you know, when Dre and Yella, you know, when they formed the group, you know, which we know how it was formed, maybe wasn't supposed to take off how it did, but once the popularity and it took off, you know, it took a what do you say, mind of its own and just took off. But how did you feel when you first heard about the group forming and, you know, how it was portrayed, you know, Dre and Yella being that, like you said, were not exactly what they were portrayed to be. We knew Easy were, and that was pretty much the face of the group. But how did you feel, and other people from Compton, because we know that, you know, NWA just kind of took off worldwide, you know, and the world didn't know who these people were, you know what I mean, just what they saw. But how did you and other people from Compton feel when that took off and how it was portrayed, as far as mainly like Dre and Yella?
Yeah, and that's a good question. And I've, you know, had a chance to think about it, and of course, you know, have conversations with them. Initially, I chuckled, I laughed because it was a sort of a jokey laugh, but also at the same time it was a happy laugh for them. You know, I was happy because what people don't know is everything that we went through in the beginning and how we sacrificed and the things that we had to deal with in the beginning. So to even just make it in the music industry, that was rolling the dice. And, for them, I was really happy for their success. But at the same time, I knew, because us, me, Dre, Yella, Ice Cube, Jinx, KD, all of us guys were hip-hop heads. Like, we lived, breathed, ate, studied, the culture. And we appreciated the culture. We appreciated, the history of, the New York culture. We knew that. We understood that. We respected that. And we just respected the culture of hip-hop. So I knew as hip-hop heads, no matter what, they were going to make really good hip-hop music. And they really didn't define the terminology gangster rap. It was the media that thrust that upon them. They were just making music that expressed what the homies and people in the hood were going through. Now, we had people in the crew, in the Wreckin Cru, that were part of like our support group, because the Wreckin Cru wasn't just the four of us. It wasn't just me, Lonzo, Dre, and Yella, and then eventually Shakespeare. The Wreckin Cru was about 30 other people that were behind the scenes, working, being roadies and helping the road manage and helping.
But that's how the name came about, correct?
Yeah, exactly. It was the Wreckin Cru. It was like the guys that would break down all the, the equipment and take it home. It was Disco Construction Productions originally. That was a production company, but the Wreckin Cru was just a group of guys that would break down the equipment and take it home. So we just represented the face of the recording group, but the Wreckin Cru itself was a bigger organization, and so I totally understood what they were doing in terms of the hip hop side of it. And yeah, I understood. There were cats in the crew that were, about that life, seriously about that life. But we tried to give everybody a shot, give everybody a chance to sort of, do something different, turn it around. Sometimes cats would just get out of prison and go, yo, man, I need a job. I need to be able to report back, to, my parole officer to say that I'm working, I'm employed. So we give them a shot. We give them a job. Some of them I would even take to the library and teach them how to read, stuff like that. But It was a situation for them, though, it was kind of a perfect storm of things that happened with NWA. One, the J.J. Fad record, Supersonic had blew up, so that gave Easy some, working capital to really, and in the music industry, once you sort of open up a pipeline or open up a door, then all of those other little, entities, the distributors and the record labels and people start looking at you, right? It's kind of like now that the light is on you, everybody's going, look your way. So that helped NWA. Plus, Greg Mack, who was a friend of ours had been a friend of ours for 8-10 years, of course he was going to give them a shot on the radio and try to, get some of their music played when it was appropriate, when they made something that you could actually play on the radio. And I think the song they played on the radio was called Radio, and Greg Mack was on that song. So that plus, Boys in the Hood, that song started to take off in the streets. And because cats were, you had your thick booming bass speakers in your car, your low or your truck or whatever, you can play that. So that was happening too at the same time. So there were it was a perfect storm of things going on to help them to blow up. And in addition to that, the white suburban kids were really starting to turn their ears to this music. So they didn't really know the difference between who was real, who wasn't, who was the, who was about that life and who wasn't. They just heard the music, and the music was coming out of, different places. And they're like, okay, well, that's what we want to get with. And then they had Jerry Heller as a manager, come along, and Jerry had just, he knew how to work all the angles and get into the creases and crevices and speak to a different audience of investors and people that would listen, to him. So you put all of that together, that's a recipe for success, right? And plus, like I said, Dre and Yella, they knew what they were doing. They knew the studio. They knew their way around the recording booth. They knew their way around the stage and all of that. So it was a no-brainer that, that was going to happen. I mean, I was around them, at that time and stuff like that. But I was, like I said, doing my own thing, as well, and making my own situation happen.
Right.
But I was happy for him.
Right.
I was happy to see it, and I was glad that finally, that we were getting at least some of from all the hard work, and the sacrificing that we had done, 5-10 years prior, it was actually starting to pay off.
But right. But let me ask you this: but before NWA, with the Wreckin Cru, even though you guys had the early local success, you guys actually had success as well. So I mean, I want to ask you two parts: what happened during that time, and what how much success did you guys experience? I know you got to go on the road, and you had a hit single, especially when "Turn Off the Lights" took off. That blew you guys up. So what happened in between that time for the NWA thing to even happen when you guys were already? I've heard a couple stories. We had Alonzo on here, but I want to ask you what happened during that time to make the group break up when you started having success and everything split like that.
Combination of things. And actually, fun fact here, Turn Off the Lights was never performed on stage by the original people ever. It was just right before Turn Off the Lights, we had, we dropped Slice. That was the first cut that, went wood. Then we did Surgery, which did a whole lot better. And then Juice really took off. Juice started to be played on a show called Dance Fever. And then, we dropped the album. We had Lovers, the first slow record. Might have even beat LL Cool J to the punch on that. I have to check the facts. And then we had some other cuts on there that really started taking off. So we started touring not just in California, but around the country in different places. And you started to, hang out. The next thing you know, you're hanging out with Stevie Wonder and Barry White and all these people. It's a whole different world that opens up. And so, but with all of that success comes other energy, right? The energy vampires are coming, the culture vultures are coming. Everybody is starting to sort of have their own little pockets and their crevices and their factions, and retreating to their own little circle, inner circles, and people are starting to pull at you and pull you in these different directions. And again, not having any real experience, quote unquote, in the music industry, and then having all these different entities pulling at all four of us from different sides, that was one issue. In addition to that, there was a lot of we never really signed a contract with Lonzo. We had a verbal contract at that time, and at that time, initially, we were all supposed to be splitting the record label 25% a piece, a quarter a piece. But when CBS came to Lonzo and approached him for a to talk about a deal, then he went and sort of switched the terms and said, well, I'm going to give you guys 45% to split amongst the three of you, then I'm going to keep 55% to myself. Well, I had been sort of on the business side, too, of the crew and really working with Lonzo in terms of, the accounting and keeping track of record sales and all that. So I had a pretty good sense of where we were, in terms of the money and how much we were owed. Plus, Macola Records was sort of a distributor / record label, but Macola was doing some really, really bad deals as well, some really shady stuff as well. And then we had a couple of managers, like I said again, that were sort of pulling at us and sort of working a lot of backdoor deals. So it became chaotic, and it became an environment that was less about the creativity, the music, and all of that, and more about what can this person get out of it versus what can that person get out of it. And as a creative like me, I like to be in a pure environment, to really create and I think give whatever it is I'm creating the best opportunity. And so for me, it was an environment that was no longer sort of helpful in me being able to create. So that was one reason.
Right.
And again, like I said, the other reason on the business side of it, that part just wasn't connecting and working out. And I told him, we had a conversation. It's not like, we just all disappeared. We really talked about it and tried to hash it out. And, it just didn't work. It was just too many factors. Now, in hindsight, looking back, and Lonzo and I are working together to this day and have been now for the last 10 years. But looking back in hindsight, you see that there were other people on the outside that were allowed into the inner circle that probably should not have been allowed into, that inner circle. And we probably would have stayed tight. And we tight, but we probably would have stayed together as a group even to this day, because, about six or 8 months after I left, Dre and Yella ended up leaving as well, because of the same, nothing got better, and that was one of the things I warned them about, that, hey man, this is not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse because of, the environment that it's in. And, that's what that was. And so that's what happened.
So it's safe
now,
to say
no bad,
there wasn't money made at that time from the group or from the hits that you guys had, or just paperwork wasn't right?
Money made. It was money made. I got mine. I had to hire an attorney.
Okay.
Do that whole bit, but I got mine. And Dre and Yella, they got a little bit too, but they got theirs from the deal with CBS. So they were in, but I got mine from Wreckin Cru stuff.
Okay.
And that's how that was.
And one more thing on that, it seems to be like a trend with that. I mean, that was nothing new. It's been going on in the record business forever, as far as the shady business deals and all of those things of that nature. But it seems as if, like, even somebody like Dre, who, like you said, and you all who left the group because of those situations, it just continued on in Dre's career until, obviously later on when he finally broke off from everything. But he got with Easy, I guess, trying to avoid those same situations, and the same situations happen. Then you go to Death Row, the same thing. What is that? Just what can you call that? I mean, just a trend in the record business. If you just don't know, you hoping it could be something better because you come in as friends, which we all do, and then that breaks up because of the money. Or I mean, what is it with that in your perspective? From your perspective?
Well, I can't really speak on Dre's train of thought, but I can just tell you from sort of a overall viewpoint of the music industry. And I tell people this all the time: we have to sort of separate hip hop culture from the rap business, because they're really, even though they're sort of under the same umbrella, but they're not necessarily the same thing. Hip hop culture is the fashion, the lifestyle, the DJing, the breaking, the rapping, and all of that. And sometimes it's underground, sometimes it's above ground, but it's just a part of the lifestyle. The rap industry is a part of that whole music business, which, the same formula is always there. There's always somebody at the top and, pulling the puppet strings of all the other people down at the bottom and manipulating situations so that they can profit, right? It's a profit-driven, sort of, entity. And in that, no matter how talented you might be, no matter how, well-known you might be, you can still get taken, for a ride by, again, those people that are pulling those, puppet strings. And it's unfortunate because, it just constantly happens, particularly if you don't have the people around you that you can trust and will have your back and be able to, and are knowledgeable enough to be able to guard you from a lot of the pitfalls that are in the industry in general. And that's why it's happened to so many people, over the years. I mean, major artists, it's happened to. They've lost it all or find out they don't own their masters.
Yeah, it seems to be just a trend.
Yeah, and it's just one of those unfortunate parts of the music industry as a whole. But you live and learn, right? And my man Dre has done so much, and been so successful. And I would only say that as all of us have, we've learned, from getting knocked around, getting bumped around a little bit here and there, by the situations. And I like to think that if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So I think we've all come out on the other side, with our wits, about ourselves.
Mm-hmm. First of all, I was told we had some echo in the back. I don't know if you have a radio on in the background or speaker up. Somebody told me we have some echo, so I just want to let you know.
Okay.
You can have everything clear. I don't know if that's on your end. We just want to clear that up so everything can be clear. But also, I want to ask you about one more thing about Dre. I still hear that echo. I don't know where that's coming from. But
Yeah.
early on, like you said, he was a DJ. You were in the Wreckin Cru, but were you aware of his production skills? Like, because that, even though we talked about the NWA thing and all that, but it really what made that take off was the sound and that production and just that new sound, because we heard all the other sounds, but when Dre and them put together the NWA, it was a whole new sound. Were you aware of his production skills, or were you surprised of what he was doing once he took off with that?
No, it's no surprise at all. We worked on that, and we worked on learning how to be better engineers, and we learned how to be better, producers. We learned the booth. We learned how to sort of get certain frequencies, that out of, equipment. And as we were working on, because our pattern, here's our pattern. If we think of something, we'd sit around, sort of brainstorm about ideas. Then we go into our little hot box 4-track studio and put down like a nice scratch track and a scratch vocal. And we would sort of, hone it, make it sound pretty good, put most of the elements that we needed or that we can fit into it. Then we'd go to the big studio because, again, at that time, the bigger studios cost a whole bunch of money every hour. And we would go there, but we would bring in experts. We had Daniel Sofer, and we had Unknown DJ, who does not get a lot of credit for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Was a really, really solid engineer and a really solid, person in terms of understanding hip hop and how to blend hip hop music sort of like in the studio and get the best quality sound out of that. So we kind of were really following his lead and following those guys' leads. And Donovan Dirt Biker Smith was, really teaching us, about recording engineering on the fly, right then and there in the studio at Audio Achievement. So that was like our recording college, and as we learned, we got better at it, and being pretty quick studies, we were able to sort of capitalize off of that, and having a home base like Audio Achievements and being very familiar, with the equipment and familiar with the sound quality and everything that you get out of there, naturally, you're going to progress and get the best. Because here's the cool part about what we were able to do. We were able to finish a song, mix it down, master it, take it to K-Day. Greg Mack would, from a cassette, Greg Mack would put it right on the radio. Or after we went to Bernie Grunman and had it, mastered and did all of that and had it pressed up, we could take it to our club atmosphere or our concert atmosphere and just play the record to see what the quality was, right? It was like a test, and whatever we needed to fix, we would just go back and fix it, because we could hear everything and test everything, from the rooter to the tutor. So that also helped to sort of hone the skills, my skills, Dre's skills, Yellow's skills as producers and engineers and the like. So no, I wasn't surprised at all that that he was able to do that. We're all capable of doing that. It's not a problem at all.
Right. And also, man, it was like hearing a lot of those names, man. Those names have been around. I even remember looking at a lot of those names on the covers and things. The engineer and like you spoke about Dirt Bike and all of these cats, man. So they have been around the whole time. And also Audio Achievements, that's always been a home as well, because that's where a lot of the NWA stuff was made as well. So that was pretty much the home base studio. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. And it's funny how we met, Donovan. We just plucked him out of a phone book. He was the closest to us, I think. And he had reasonable rates. So we let's go on over there and make it happen. And cool dude, when we showed up, you saw a guy, long-haired white dude, he's literally a dirt biker. He tell us stories about his dirt bike and, tell us stories about his, jet skis and all that kind of stuff in the studio. At first, he was Donovan was a little apprehensive, about these knuckleheads, these black dudes coming into his studio. But after a while, he got used to us and literally just started, instead of even staying around, he would, come in, unlock the door, and then leave, and just y'all got it.
Right.
Have at it. I'll be back in 4 or 5 or whatever hours.
Right. Okay. This is some history you guys are getting tonight, man. It's Westside Wednesdays, the G-Lew Show. G-Lew, Queen Jean. Queen, you have anything for him before we take a break?
Yes, I just wanted to ask you to go another part of your journey as far as filming and just screenplays and things such as nature. I know you had a series that you were doing. It was called A Young Man's Guide to Survival. If you can just elaborate on all of that before we go to break or after we come back from break, however you want to do that, G-Lew, is fine.
No, go ahead if he wants to elaborate.
Okay. Sure. Well, I started out actually as an actor. In junior high school, I was walking up the corridor, the hallway, and the acting teacher, who was also my English teacher, she saw me, and she's like, you know what, Hawkins, I think you'd be right for this part. I'm working on this play with some kids. I think you might want to try it out. And I had already sort of been doing it like in church plays and that kind of thing. But I said, yeah, okay. So she took me, to the rehearsal. And I sat down and I watched the kids rehearsing and everything, and so she gave me the script, and she said, okay, well, just don't worry about it. Just take this home and read it over, see if you like the part, and when you come back Monday, maybe you can come back to the rehearsal and we can try you out. Well, at that time I had a photogenic memory, so I can look at something once or twice and boom, I would have it down, no problem. So, and it was a long, it was a chunky role, and it was literally the supporting actor role in actually one of the main characters. And so went home, learned all the words, learned the lines. I memorized the script. I hadn't learned the lines yet. There's a difference, believe me. So anyway, I memorized the script, came back, recited all of the lines and everything. And she was like, wow, how'd you learn it that fast? And so, she's like, you cast. So we ended up, taking it to a citywide competition in Compton. I won a Best Supporting Actor trophy. So I was bitten by the acting bug and the stage bug since then. And I started writing my own plays, writing them in high school and that kind of thing. And, direct them. I would drive my family crazy trying to direct them and stuff and all that kind of stuff. Started directing things, in church. And so after that and during the Wreckin Cru, I still started to want to explore, that. So I continued to write. And then when music videos came along, I really got into, co-directed music videos and doing that kind of thing. And I said, wow, I want to, try my hand at, doing PSAs and commercials. So I started doing that. And then I put together a series called A Young Man's Guide to Survival. And what I wanted to do with that series is instead of just, bunking young men over the head with knowledge, because, they run away from that, we wanted to tell the stories through sort of like edutainment, kind of an angle where we would have a narrative, but within that narrative, we'd have experts interspersed to talk about credit, buying a house, your health, your homies in the law and getting involved with the courts, baby mama drama and child support. So we wanted to, reach and teach them in that way, and not just, like I said, bunk them over the head with a knowledge stick, but give them some entertainment about it as well. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. And then out of that, started really getting more into writing, more screenplays and serious stuff, and directed a movie called Kraken starring Ronaldo Ray, The Arrest, and Lil Rel Howery. That was his first role ever in Hollywood when he came to Hollywood, and he's in there cracking jokes and doing all that kind of stuff. So we started doing that, and now I'm working with Canon Films over here producing a bunch of stuff now.
That's great. That's really awesome. I'm sure a lot of the audience didn't even know that you were doing some of that stuff. So that's good info.
Right.
So thank you.
No doubt.
Yep. We got our special guest tonight. People just tuning in. DJ Clientele of the world-class Wreckin Cru, also an author, screenwriter, so many hats he holds, DJ, and so much history. We've only got into some of it now. So people that's listening in, Once again, clientele is here. The calling number is 914-803-4001. I'm assisted by my co-host, Miss Queen Jean. Our sponsors for the evening are BTP Media Group. Shout out to Jeff Kwan, 93 Point Tweed, FM Ism, Tweed Cadillac every Thursday night on Blog Talk Radio. Matter of fact, he'll be on tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, Tweed is out there. You know Tweed.
Yeah, man.
That's the guy. That's Tweed Cadillac, man. I mean, who don't know Tweed?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, shout out to Tweed. Shout out to Tweed. So what we'll do, we'll take a quick break and we'll come right back and talk about it. Also, I want to talk about this book, man. Great book you have. So I want to talk about that when we come back. So we'll be right back after this. Westside Wednesday, the G-Lew Show.
If you like it, let me know. It's going down in a real way. I need y'all to check out my other comrade, my co-defendant. He goes with the name of G-Lew. Yes, Westside Wednesdays, OG Sundays, G-Lew Show, Law Talk Radio. Check him out. He's on Wednesdays and Sundays. His call-in number is 914-803-4001. 93 Point Tweed FM. Ism, baby.
Hi, I'm Mark Hawkins, also known as DJ Clientele. I'm happy to tell you about my brand new book, DJ Clientele, the autobiography, essays, and writings of a modern-day Renaissance man. I was inspired to write this book to help set the historical record straight. I believe that fans of hip-hop culture and lovers of music will appreciate the riveting story of a hip-hop artist, educator, and trailblazing pioneer. In this iconic work, I tell my origin story and roots growing up in Compton and Los Angeles, California. I also tell the origin stories of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame artists Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and DJ Yella before the formation of the group NWA. Readers will find that this iconic work will fill in some much-needed gaps in West Coast hip-hop history. The book features essays, anecdotal stories, and photographs of my personal and professional life as a recording artist, writer, and director. DJ Clientele, the autobiography, essays, and writings of a modern-day Renaissance man. Available at Amazon.com and at CLI-N-TEL.com. Pick yours up today.
Records, mixer, turntables, speakers 7 days a week. He's on call to get the party people up off the wall. You'll feel motivated as he operates, 'cause party energy is what he generates. He'll prescribe for you his potent elixir, 2 turntables, speakers, and a mixer. He'll rock your party wherever you be, calling Dr. Dre to surgery. LA is the place for you to be, to witness Dr. Dre in surgery. He has a PhD in mixology, to cut on the wheel so viciously. Boom boom goes the beat, to rock the nation. Freaks receive mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Come here, freak, closer and see Dr. Dre operate in surgery. Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre, 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 Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre, 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 Dr. Dre.
my gun out the box, but I'm still claiming that I'm up to no damn good. A middle class kid, saw boys in the hood, and learn to be a gangster from Ice Cube. Learn the fundamentals from Drake, like what to say, but that's cool. Now I'm sporting me some khakis and a ball head, a Pendleton and some Nike Cortez. Old friends hoping that I won't hit them, saying remember when that nigga wore pants that would fit him? I got my homeboys scared as hell with them bullshit gangster stories I tell. But the boys in the hood know I ain't no threat. I'm a studio gangster claiming the set. Make way for the studio gangster. Talking that gangster hula, I'm probably a punk. Make way for the studio gangster. Talking that gangster hula, I'm probably a punk. Hopped off the plane in the Midwest, got 4 bodyguards and a bulletproof vest. And when I come to your town, you swear I was down. I hang with your gang and I even learn your slang. Here's my impression of a G. I got the walk and the talk down to a T. I'm quick to talk about how hard it is in the ghetto, and quick to talk about my Tech 9 made of metal, nigga. And if you fuck with me, I got my crew. How deep is my game? I say about 2. But fuck it, cause what you don't know won't hurt. My fingernails are clean, I never put in work. I do it for the money, cause nothing comes free. I even got sweated by a real love G. And he told me, you ain't nothing but a punk low prankster. So make way for the studio gangster. Make way for the studio gangster. Talking that gangster hoodlum, I'm probably a punk. Make way for the studio gangster. Talking that gangster hoodlum, I'm probably a punk. Hard in the studio, but soft on the streets, and killing motherfuckers over gangster beats, and trying to keep clip from all the people who knew me, talking about shit I probably seen in the movies. Anyway, it's time to get scooped. I got the A&R at my record label booth, and all up in the studio, holding the keys, lock the front doors, cause I'm hiding from the real G's, trying to be hard with my registered pistol, knowing that my record is clean as a whistle, always talking about my gangster mentality, but I'm just a part-time G for a salary. Here I go again, my trigger finger got an itch, but if I got checked, I'd probably cry like a bitch, cause the boys in the hood know I ain't no threat. I'm a studio gangster, throwing up your set. Make way for the studio gangster. Talking that gangster hoodlum, I'm probably a punk. Make way for the studio gangster. Talking that gangster hoodlum, I'm probably a punk. Make way for the studio gangster. Talking that gangster hoodlum, I'm probably a punk. Make way for the studio gangster. Talking that gangster hoodlum, I'm probably a punk.
Yo, it's Freeway Booby, Guardia, California, South to G-Lew show, man. Y'all tuned in, don't miss a beat. Go on. Straight like that, one.
Hey, what's happening, man? This your boy Big Y, man. You know what I'm saying? Rocking with my nigga G-Lew, Westside Wednesday. Y'all know what it is, woo.
Yes, sir. You're back live at the G-Lew Show, Westside Wednesdays, with my special guest, the legendary DJ Clientele of the world-class Wreckin Cru. You may know him as one of his monikers. And I'm also joined by the lovely Miss Queen Jean. Hey, before we continue, man, let me talk about that song I just played, right? I played that because I know that was on your album, came out later on.
Yes.
That was a classic, man. And tell us about that song, man. What made you write that song? And I don't know if it had the impact it was supposed to have. That was a great song, man. It had a real message in it. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And and shout out to ALT who's on that track with me, and unknown DJ who helped co-produce it. like I said, I started out as a battle rapper. So when I get into, that mode, I'm always into the snarkiness. I'm always into going deep and really, trying to make, touch people on a psychological level. And, with the way the industry was going at that time, in the 90s, you had a lot of cats that were falling into sort of like this, I'm gonna be a rapper, but I'm not just gonna be a rapper. I'm gonna be a gangster rapper because that's what's popping. But it ain't about that life. Well, nobody knows that, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna fake it till I make it, so to speak. And then if I fake it enough, then I'm gonna get a bunch of people around me who are gonna start believing, that, and then everybody else is gonna eventually start believing. And you had a lot of cats that were signing on and doing that to the detriment of the culture, and particularly the West Coast, because we had other groups out there, like Far Side and Jurassic 5 and even Black Eyed Peas that were lyrical, that were earthy, that were creative in another vein, but they sort of got muted by the industry just pulling in the whole G gangster culture. And so my thinking at that time with that song was not just an attack on those guys who were faking it till they make it, but also the industry as well, and how the industry was pulling in to make a buck, to make a quick fast buck, to the detriment of West Coast hip hop culture. Because again, the Ski-Los and guys like that and the Def Jeffs sort of got marginalized by the whole explosion of the the gangster rap culture. So that's what that was about. That was my thinking when I did that song.
Man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Def Jeff, though. You mentioned that, man. Def Jeff doesn't get his props, but shout out to him. Well, I was going to ask you something else as well before I continue. I wanted to go back a bit before we continue, and I want to go to the phone line. But you spoke, you didn't speak up, you did. But tell us also about, man, a guy you spoke about earlier on who became to be a legendary DJ in his own right. Again, who doesn't get a lot of credit, but I know you also grew up with him as well in the village. The homie Joe Cooley. Can you speak on him briefly?
Oh yeah, Joe's my brother, man. We've been through so much together, the good, the bad, the thick and the thin, and we've always been down, for each other, from day one. And when he hooked up with Rodney O and they started doing their thing, I was so happy, to see that, because I knew how talented Joe was and how dedicated that Joe was. Joe was the type of person, man, that when we finally scrounged up money and begged, borrowed, and stole to get turntables and get amps and get a mixer, we would sort of designate who would take the equipment that week and leave it at their house to practice. But we would all agree that you could come to that person's house if you needed to practice to practice. And when Joe had the equipment, I would go over his house sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's already up, trying to perfect just one scratch. And he'd be there hogging the turntables. 2 hours go by, 3 hours go by, he's still on them. I said, man, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'll be back. All right, man. I leave for an hour. I come back. He's still there trying to perfect his one scratch. Yeah, and it's like this dude is so dedicated, but a lot of that rubbed off on all of us. And but he became an icon, and the Joe Cooley scratch. Every DJ around the world has to know how to do the Joe Cooley scratch if you want to call yourself a DJ.
Right.
So he was just a dedicated dude.
Right.
One of the nicest people you would ever meet. One of the most loyal cats. And like I said, just nice to a fault. Like you say, doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. Very talented, extremely talented, not only on the turntables, but also as a musician too. And that's what a lot of people don't know about us too. People just think we just rap and just, play other people's music, but we are actually musicians too. I play bass, I play, guitar. Yellow was a drummer. Dre played some instruments, and so we love music, and we just loved, the idea of creating, music, and Joe was one of those people as well. And Joe's father was a guitar player, too. So he was just a very dedicated, committed, talented individual who, like you say, doesn't get the props and recognition that he deserves.
Right, but to his credit, I mean, everybody I've heard interviewed or legend, maybe on the West Coast tip or whatever, but all of them say, man, whether the DJs or not, that they credit Joe Cooley as the best. Like, I've heard so many say that, you know what I mean? So he doesn't get his proper credit, I guess, on a worldwide scale, but the people know, the real ones know, and everybody always gives Joe Cooley the utmost respect as probably one of their favorite DJs. And these are DJs themselves that say this, so,
Yeah,
go ahead.
absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I got involved with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, because I wanted to make sure that our West Coast story is told properly, and the people who get who deserve it, get their just desserts. Because it's not just about the people who blew up, sold a lot of records, toured all over the world, made a lot of money. It's also the people who started out and maybe did something that was recognizable to push the culture a little bit further, a little bit better, and created something a little bit different. And I want those people, men and women, to get the credit that they deserve as well, because they contributed, and they were just as important, to the culture.
Right. So, that's great information. Also, you spoke about the museum. Can you speak on that briefly, and then I want to go through the phone lines.
Sure. So the Universal Hip Hop Museum started out as an idea about 7 years ago with a group of pioneers, Rocky Bucano, Curtis Blow, Ice-T, Bambaataa, and Mickey Benson, and those guys, Joe Conzo. And they just said, look, Grand Wizard, Theodore, who invented the scratch, and they just basically said, look, what are we going to do to secure our legacy in hip-hop? How are we going to really tell the narrative the right way? Because, again, you got all these reporters out here saying stuff. You got these so-called scholars making up stuff, pulling it out of their ass.
Right.
You got all these different people who don't really know hip-hop telling our story. How are we going to get control of this narrative and tell the right story so that the legacy of hip-hop is secured? Well, let's do a museum. They didn't know the first thing about a museum, how to start it, how to raise money, what to do. And they just started really, scratching and crawling and asking questions and scrounging around, and then just kind of started really getting some idea or sense of what needs to be done. So a year later, I came on. I was brought on by a frat brother of mine named Doug Young, who was a promoter for NWA and Records
Doug.
and Interscope.
Shout out to Doug. Crazy ass.
So Doug, Doug brought me in, and so I started with him, just spearing up the whole West Coast team from all the way down from Seattle all the way down to San Diego, and we just in Arizona and Nevada, and pulling people in Colorado to get involved with the movement. And so because we wanted to make sure that we secured a legacy for us, by us, with the story told by us. But then as we started really making some noise, then you started getting like the Googles and the Microsofts and those cats involved. We did an envisioning session some years ago where we went around to different cities, and we pulled, people from the community, from hip-hop, celebrities, artists, and just general folk into one space, in Detroit, Atlanta, New York, and L.A., and we said, what would you like to see in terms of a museum? And we just took all their ideas, coagulated all those ideas together, and came up with a really cool, immersive, interactive, innovative, state-of-the-art, kind of museum that's going to be built in 2023 in the Bronx, because, again, we all recognize that's where hip-hop was synthesized. That's the birthplace of hip-hop as we know it. There were other elements all over the place. We know that. In L.A., of course, Don Campbell was doing the locking and all that, and the Watch Prophets were doing their thing. So that's two elements. And then we know that, in the South they were doing things, in the Midwest they were doing things. But we recognize that in the Bronx, that's where all of those elements were synthesized, at 1520 Sedgwick with Kool Herc and what he did. And so we said it's got to be in the Bronx first. That's where the mothership's going to be. Then we'll build the satellites all over the country.
Right.
So we got, other people involved. We got an organization called Generation Hip Hop, which is a sister organization. They're in like 50 different countries now, volunteering everywhere. And everybody that's involved right now, all 41 people who are helping to do the museum, the Universal Hip Hop Museum, they're all volunteers. Nobody's getting paid. Nobody's making money off of it. But we've managed to raise for the museum from zero when we first started to upwards of $30 million to date. And we still got a ways to go, but we're breaking ground next year, which is, the anniversary of hip hop, I think about 50 years or so. And we're going to, then it'll be up in 2023. But we just opened a satellite, like right across the street from where the actual museum is going to be last week, called the Revolution of Hip Hop. And it's just like a taste of what's going to be there. And it's already been successful, man. Kids have been coming through field trips already, and folks have been coming in. Kool Herc was over there this week, putting his stamp of approval on it. Curtis Blow has been there, So yeah, it's going down, man. We're making it happen for the culture.
That's right. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Before we continue, we got a lot more to talk about. I want to go to the phone lines. A couple people want to talk to you. Let me go to the phone lines. Caller, hello. You live with DJ Clientele, G-Lew, and Queen Jean. Caller, hello. 360. Okay. Maybe they weren't ready. If you want to speak again, press 1 and we'll bring you in. Press 1 and we'll bring you in. Let's talk a bit about this book you have, man. This incredible book. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so DJ Clientele, the autobiography, essays and writings of a modern-day Renaissance man. That's a mouthful, I know. But I just wanted to, do something or write something that set the historical record straight. Because, again, like I was saying, sometimes you'd read blogs or you read a book. I pick up a book and I read something or, and these are reputable folks. I mean, major, like publishers and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, that didn't happen. It didn't go down like that. That person never said that. That person never did that. And why did they leave that out? Why did they put that in? That kind of thing. So, I was inspired to write it because of that reason. And then also on the set of Straight Outta Compton, I was having a conversation one day with Ice Cube. And he said, man, I wanted to do this movie because I wanted to open the door for everybody else to be able to tell their stories. And I sat there and I said, he's right. Everybody else does need to tell their own stories. And so I was inspired to write it from that conversation, and then also from, like I said, just so many people getting it so wrong for so long. And so, yeah, it was just time to put it down like that. Absolutely.
Right.
But it's a book that chronicles, my history, how I grew up, where I came from, how I got into, to music and film and all of that, but also how I always kept a foot in education, because I don't consider myself an intellectual elitist. I consider myself an intellectual revolutionary. And so I try to do things to use my tools to affect, positive change versus, using my tools to turn us back. And, but again, not an elitist and not perfect. So, it's always striving every day to try to do more on that side. But again, I'm a man of many sides, so I got a lot of things that I do. So that's what, the consideration, for, being called a Renaissance man, but also a modern day Renaissance man, because again, when you say Renaissance, people think, oh, that's way back. Oh, that's old and, ancient, European times. No, it's, every time there's a Renaissance, change or revolution happens after that. So it's about my change and my evolution. So that's kind of like where that's coming from.
Right. And let me ask you this, quick question. What did you said you were on the set of the movie, so you saw it being made, but what did you think about the Straight Outta Compton movie, positive and negative?
Well, so I have to look at it from two different lenses, right? One lens is one of the people involved, in sort of the whole story, right, or at least was a part of the story. And then the other lens is Hollywood. As a person who's involved or who lived what the movie was supposed to portray, I would say that probably 50, 60% of it was what it was accurate, or at least told the story. The other 40% from is from the Hollywood perspective, which drives the narrative forward, and you can only tell so much in 2.5 hours. I believe in their heart of hearts, the intent was to try to get it as right as possible. But like I said again, and I know from filmmaking, it's not just one person making the movie or making the decisions. It's a team of people. So, there's compromise and there's, situations and circumstances that happen. Well, no, we can't put that in. We can't do that. Because again, the producers came to me and said, "Listen, man, we had a long discussion about you. When we were trying to put this whole thing together, they literally told me we had a long discussion about you, and how would we fit your story into this movie, so to speak, right? To paraphrase, and it's just not enough time to get all of that in. It's just not. So it just doesn't work that way realistically. So again, I was happy that finally our story was being told, or at least a portion of our story was being told, so that it would turn sort of a spotlight onto West Coast hip hop and the contribution we made and all of that. But two, I do, caution folks, in terms of if they take a Hollywood movie at face value and say that's exactly what happened every step of the way, then 9 times out of 10, no matter what the movie is, if it's a biopic that's trying to be accurate, there's going to be some embellishments. There's going to be some changes to the, the historical record that that just aren't true, because it's a movie, and that's the reality of the situation. So that's my take on it.
Right, but it was a lot of backlash. Not only, like you said, 50% of it being Hollywood and driven and what they have to do to make a movie, but it was a lot of backlash as well, as people saying how that's not really how a lot of things went, or it's more biased based on Dre and Q had more part in making the film. So it was just, I'm sure you've heard it all. You know what I mean? So I kind of just wanted your take on what you felt about the movie overall.
I had people cursing me out, calling me, cursing me out, talking about, "Hey man, why you not in the movie?" It's not my movie. I don't have any control over that. I can't, and these are cats that were there. They lived it, breathed it. They were around us. They knew the situation. They, they came to Do Those Music Center. They hung out with us at the Eve After Dark. They, stood, locked in arms, guarding the situation, making sure our equipment didn't get stolen. So these are cats that knew it, and so they calling me, cursing me out, like I had something to do with it. I'm like, nah, man, it is what it is, man. And but again, it gives me an opportunity to tell my story. Thus, the book, DJ Clientele, the autobiography and essays and writings of a modern-day Renaissance man. I even already got approached by a production company to turn the book into a movie. I'm not even there yet.
That would be big. Right.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
One more thing I want to ask you about that situation with Dre and Easy and the whole NWA. How did you feel, or even if you weren't around, just from an outside perspective, being that you knew both of them when the split came up and the beef and all of that, and Dre went his way with Suge, and the whole just breakdown of things, especially Easy passed not too long after that. How did you feel about all that? Being that you were a friend of them and knew them all, and how things took a turn.
Yeah, I mean, Easy and I were actually we had already had a conversation or two about working together. I did a drop I was in the studio with him, and I did a drop for the Ruthless Radio show, and then we had started talking. He and I had started talking about working on a studio album together, because he always wanted to work with me, and he said, he told me he'd always admired my work and that kind of thing, and I appreciated that. But I always knew that Easy didn't do anything without already thinking it through. He already had a sort of an agenda in his head. He had a scenario played out in his mind already, and we were trying to, figure that out and go through sort of like what would be the best fit, in terms of that. And so I was kind of around then, but still kind of doing my own thing, and really, really, really strongly putting together a program or project, to bring it to Ruthless. And when I heard first that he had gotten sick, I figured, because I hadn't seen him not too long before that. I figured, well, he's probably just, I knew he had asthma, and it's probably maybe an asthma attack or something like that. He'd probably go into the hospital, he'd be out. It's all good. But then after a while, you didn't hear that he was coming out, and it's like, no, wait a minute, asthma doesn't make you stay that long. Because my brother, when he was younger, suffered from asthma, and I knew that he might get knocked out for a couple of days, or whatever, have to go to the hospital. They, drain his fluid from his lungs or whatnot, and he back up and around being a knucklehead. But so I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, this is not normal. And then next thing you know, you hear that he had passed away. That was a shock to me to hear that. But as far as the split, I don't really know all of the particulars other than what I've heard and what I've read. But again, I do know that, Dre is a businessman, and he started to really learn from Wreckin Cru days, when a situation is most conducive and when it's not. And he probably, in his mind, felt that it was more of an advantage for him to sort of have his own thing than not. And from what I've read as a historian and what I've interpreted from, other people, I just knew that, Dre wanted to have more of a stake and a hand on everything that he was doing. Then I heard that there was sort of back and forth play between Dre and Jerry and Eric and that kind of thing. And there's other stuff involved that I do know about. And I've had very tough and truthful conversations with Jerry Heller about before he passed away, because I actually wrote a script called Ruthless based on Jerry Heller's book. But I had a lot of questions as I was writing that screenplay, and this was even before the Straight Outta Compton thing. And I hit Jerry with some really tough, because I knew Jerry, because he had managed Wreckin Cru, and I hit him with some very, very tough, no holds barred questions that people were saying. And I wanted to know the truth before I even got involved with something like that. And he was very honest with me about what was happening at the time. And I think there was, again, words get crossed, signals get crossed, there's misunderstanding, there are people saying things and then other people saying other stuff. And people get so big that they don't really get in the room and just go, all right, let's forget about everybody else and all the noise. Let's just talk to each other and figure this out, from that perspective. And when that doesn't happen, then a lot of misunderstandings, pull people apart.
Right, yeah. I just wanted your take on that because I knew you were friends with both of them, and when all that took place. And rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace to Easy. Shout out to the whole crew. Yella always stayed down. Did you have a relationship with Ren at all?
Yeah. I knew Ren, but Ren was usually Ren would come do his thing. Ren wasn't he was more of a just kind of laid back kind of person. He's just like that to this day. He doesn't say very much. He's so I would see him, but it wasn't like he and I were going to be hanging out or anything like that. But
right.
So
I've heard that a lot about Ren.
He had his own.
Ren
had his own thing going on.
Right. Okay. All right. Shout out to the crew. Queen Jean, you got anything for clientele?
Yes, I wanted to know, where was Eve After Dark located?
On Avalon and El Segundo, right
so
there
that's
on the
now
corner.
Called what is it called now?
It's still there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still there, but it has a different name now.
It's a different name, yeah.
Because it's right across the street from the El Polo Loco. That's where I thought it was, because I've seen the picture on a video of yours. And
it had several different.
I think Alonzo still runs it, doesn't he?
It was called the Penthouse, the Playpen. It was called some other stuff, the Boom Boom Room. And he used to run it up until a certain time. He goes back and forth, with it. Maybe a couple of years ago, I think he sort of semi-retired But knowing Lonzo, his retire means I'm just gonna take a break for like 6 months and dive right back in. But yeah, there in Avalon and El Segundo, maybe holds about on a good day 100 people, 150 people in there. Is not the big, and that's another reason why we started doing more dances over at Dudo's Music Center, which they tore down as 135th and Central, and then
Central.
And then we started.
I want to ask you about Dudo's.
Skateland
too, right there next door to it, right? Yeah, tell us about those, because we didn't speak about that. Skateland, Dudo's, and those places that were very popular at that time.
Yeah, so Dootsy Williams, the writer of that song Earth Angel, he opened up a concert hall in the hood. He built a concert hall right there in the hood. He had a stage, held about maybe 500 to 1,000 people in there, so Lonzo struck up a relationship with him, and we would do, when we got too big for Eve After Dark, we couldn't fit but 120, 25, 30 people in there, and we wanted to do bigger shows, then we would go and rent Dudo's Music Center. Dudo's was a lot of people that played there before. Some iconic folks, Sarah Vaughan and so many iconic, performers, Etta James, people like that had been there and performed. So it was sort of a well-known place, but it was sort of upscale even in the hood, right? But when we brought our element in there, we brought a little different twist on things up in that bad boy. It was a younger crowd, a little more raunchy, a little more rowdy. So we had the Compton PD, which I believe one of them might have been Lonzo's cousin or something like that. Compton PD would do security for us. And then we had our homies from the village and from, Campanella Park and from Piru up in there, circulating, and coagulating, making sure everything was straight. And, and then eventually K-Day and Greg Mack started doing remotes over at Dudo's. So K-Day would broadcast their Friday night shows, and any given moment or any given night you'd have, Houdini come through. You'd have Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Andre Harrell come through. I remember when he first came there, LL Cool J.
Yeah.
And actually, I started, I was going to, and New Edition. And that was the first time we had actually performed with New Edition. And in fact, when we performed with New Edition wanted to recruit me to be their DJ to go on tour with them. And Lonzo was like, "Nah, we need him here." I was like, "Man, you crazy?" But I did perform with New Edition, that night. And Ronnie, I was playing the records. Ronnie kicked the turntable, then skipped. I had to make her hurry up and jump back on so they wouldn't mess up their routine. But that was fun. But yeah, so Dudo's was that kind of place. Climax was performed there. The Jets, we had them there. You name it, man. And when we started doing a lot of the remotes with K-Day, a lot of people would come there and perform, and the place was always, packed. And then Dootsy started to get a little nervous because it was getting so packed in there. Craig Swersinger built a skating ring next door called Skateland USA in about 1984, 1985. Okay. And so we started doing remotes and parties over there because Dootsy Williams was too uncomfortable with us being there, so he kicked us out of there. So we just went over to
so Skateland had just been built at that time. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Skateland yes, 1985. Yeah, so it was fairly. Wow. And Anthony Anderson keeps saying that he used to come up there, but I mean, maybe I don't remember him, but he said, I hear him say it in interviews that he used to go to Skateland, and
he sure does say that.
rock with the crew, okay, all good, man, all good. But yeah, but at that time too, man, we were in competition still with Uncle Jam's Army, and when they threw a punch our way, proverbially, when they tried to do a dance, then we tried to do a dance. When they did a song, we tried to do a song. So it was always that friendly, healthy competition to make West Coast hip hop in a way a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, Roger
and before
go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, Skateland was the first place I met Curtis Blow. Curtis Blow had approached me
That's odd.
one night because, he had heard Lovers, the slow record we did, and he's like, man, I want to buy that song. But I'm like, Curtis, it's already out, like it's already like on the radio. How can you buy that? And at the time I was so young, I should have just said, well, yo, man, I'll just write you another one, But I wasn't thinking that way, and I said, man, you gotta talk to Lonzo about that because he's our manager, so you'd have to holler at him about it. But I didn't, at that time I didn't know what to say. I should have just said, yeah, man, I'll just write you another one. Don't worry about it. But but yeah, that was the first place I met him, and a lot of people.
I just wanted
a lot of artists.
Yeah, I just want to add that Skateland was a legendary place. I know it doesn't get talked about here and there, no longer there, but just briefly tell us about Skateland, man. That was a legendary spot, where, like you said, a lot of people congregated, and I'm sure later on when the gang shit got tough, it was a lot going on there. But Skateland was a legendary foundation, in early hip hop, and just everybody, a place everybody went, Yeah, so I just want to speak on that briefly. But go ahead, Queen.
Yeah, I mean, Quick, and all those guys said they came up there, to watch. And the cool part about all of that is this, for us, when we saw Yella and Uncle Jam's Army and Ice-T and those guys performing, that gave us the incentive to go, well, if they can do it, we can do it. Not realizing that when the next generation, like the DJ Quicks and all those guys, saw us doing it, they were like, yo, if they can do it, we can do it. And that's so cool to see that because, it's almost like we keeping this thing going. We're making sure that the next generation is vibing off of it. And, we're making sure that, we're still representing. So it's just a cool thing to hear that.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Queen.
Wow. Oh, I was just going to say the skating ring duties, that had became Kazuri's. They used to sell thermal products there. You can go get the best curling irons and stoves because I was into cosmetology.
That's right.
Yeah, that's where we would go get all our equipment from that location. And I was like, wow, they made this. And, and they were making money there, too, with that business there. So it's been many things. And also I wanted to ask you, you were in school when you was with the Wreckin Cru. You was going to Gardena High, right?
Yep, Gardena High School.
How was that? Yeah. I mean, how was that for you?
Crazy.
Going to school and I could only imagine.
I mean, man, listen, people would follow me. I would have to go when I would go to the restroom. People would follow me into the restroom to battle me. I'm like, man, I'm trying to take a piss. Let me piss first, then we battle. It's like battle first, then piss. But yeah, it was crazy, and it was wild. But at the same time, as somebody who I don't really, celebrity to me is not a thing. What's more important to me is the work and doing good work and making sure that I'm representing for my family, for my people, for the culture, and the like, well. And so it wasn't for me about the fame. I don't trip off of that. What it was more about is, okay, you want to battle, I'll battle you, no problem. And one of the cats that because what I would do is I would carry around this book I called my rap Bible. It was just a notebook, one of those composition notebooks, and I would keep all my rhymes in there, and I would leave blank spaces, in the raps to fill in somebody's name or a physical feature or some kind of diss that I wanted to put in there. So I was always prepared no matter what. So when fools try to come up to me in battle, I had something for them, already ready to go. And I'd hear their name or they say a little something, and I'd say, okay, I got a rhyme for that. And I would take that rhyme, and whenever I had a blank spot, I would just fill that in with that blank spot. And they'd be like, ooh, how'd he do that? But the one person that could hang with me, and he had a secret weapon, his name was DJ Fly. And Fly is he's blind. He's seeing impaired. And so he never wrote any of his rhymes down. So because he never wrote any of his rhymes, he was good at coming off the top of the dome. everything he said was extemporaneous, right? And so he would just rhyme and rhyme and rhyme until he wore you out. And so I had to go dig deep down into my book to get him, you know. And every time he would be around me at clientele, let's battle, clientele, let's battle. And I would see him at the bus stop, clientele, let's battle. You know, I'd see him walking the hallway, clientele, let's battle. And so, but what he did was, for me, was he helped me to be a much better rap artist because he pushed me, you know, just that far. And to this day, I thank him. He's still around, and he managed to record like a couple of songs, I believe, with Uncle Jam's R&B, but it never really took off. But those are the kind of stories in like the museum that need to be in the museum. He's that type of person that would need to, you know, get that recognition, you know, like in the Universal Hip Hop Museum. But yeah, DJ Fly, he was a dope MC.
Okay.
And also,
okay.
I heard you mention that Herbie Hancock, his song "Rocket" influenced you as a DJ.
Yeah, because you know, we heard that scratching. You know, we heard that scratch, and we're like, "What is that? How do we do it? How can we do that scratch? What is he doing?" You know, because we had no visuals until, you know, music videos came out, and like, even with that music video, you just got some robots in there or something.
That was one of the first.
But
that song was big in hip hop. I mean, it was groundbreaking. Even though it was kind of pop, what it was groundbreaking at that time for hip hop because that's when it went to a different level. So Herbie definitely deserves credit.
Yeah, Herbie was a pioneer and a trailblazer, and I'm glad you brought that up because what people don't realize about, like, when you're transitioning from like one whole musical genre to another, like when we went from disco to hip hop, it wasn't a smooth transition. It wasn't like, oh, now we're gonna try this new music. It was resistance, you know. It was blowback, and so in order to sort of ease our way into it, you know, and soften the blow a little bit, we had to sort of tweak the music so that it was, you know, it was tasteful to the ear of the people at that time who weren't used to, you know, just the New York, you know, East Coast boom bap and all of that. So that's why a lot of our songs were more up tempo, more sort of a dancier, had more of a sort of a pop kind of flair to them or sound, and because we thought about all of that, we couldn't just come out the gate, you know, making, you know, boom boom bap boom boom. You know, we couldn't do that because we knew that the audience that we were trying to reach, the wider audience we were trying to reach, their ear it just wasn't ready for that. But the up tempo fast stuff, you can freak to. We have, you know, the dance called the freak. You know, get on the dance floor and freak a girl on the dance floor, real, you know, that kind of thing. So that was up tempo, and plus California's got surf and sun and all of that, and, you know, biker shorts and, you know, halter tops, and so people wanted to get out there and do that. So and skate and all that. So that's why we made the up tempo stuff.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's incredible history, man. Incredible history. We got any more callers out there that want to speak? Press 1. We'll bring you in. Also, I want to give a shout out again to our sponsors: BTP Media Group, 93 Point Suite, FMism, OG Music, and Westside Car Club. Again, tell us about this book, because we spoke about the book, but let them know where they can go get the book now and purchase it, or you know, I know we're in the digital age, how they can get it online or whatever. Yeah. Plug the book again for the people.
Absolutely. So it's Clientele, the autobiography, essays, and writings of a modern-day Renaissance man. They can, you know, get it at Amazon.com. It's available there. Ships in a matter of days, or they can get it from my website at CLI-N as in Nancy, -TEL.com. Again, that's CLI-N-TEL.com. And, they can get it from those two places. Simon & Schuster's been looking over my shoulder. So, you know, we'll see about them. But right now it's through Gung Ho Publishing, and my company, Mark Hawkins Enterprises, are the publishers on it. And man, I mean, you know, pick it up. You know, it's really a part of history. I'm looking to do some book signings, you know, real soon. So there'll be information coming out about that. So perhaps people pick the book up, and then I'll announce a book signing, and they can show up there, or we'll have some copies that they can purchase at the book signing as well too. But again, I wrote it to set the historical record straight, to just make sure that some things that people maybe have forgotten about over time, or just never mentioned, didn't get marginalized, because there are things that are important that don't get put in a book, or were before the era of us recording everything on cell phones and other devices and recording devices. There is material or content, recorded content out there about us performing early on with Wreckin Cru. There are interviews that I know we've done, countless number of interviews that are out there, Wreckin Cru stuff, across the country. So people have that content, but where it is, I don't know. So it's important to make sure that it's recorded, and it's recorded through primary sources, firsthand, the people who remember it. And, memories fade over time, so people tend to forget, certain things. And then when you remind them, oh, yeah, that's right. But back then it was really significant, because, one story I tell in the book is about how we met Ice Cube and how Ice Cube, got involved with the Wreckin Cru, and how it was just really a set of circumstances. And Jinx was a roadie of ours. And in other words, because we had to move a lot of equipment and stuff was heavy, and we needed all hands on deck. Because back then it wasn't just a laptop, and a backpack and a couple of speakers and Serato. It was controller. It was heavy coffins with turntables in them. Weight, and it was big Sir and Vega speakers, and we'd have to haul it in, haul it out every time we did a remote. So we needed help. Sir Jinx was one of the roadies that helped us out, and he would always bug us. Hey, man, I got this little crew, me and my two homies, my friends, I'm a DJ and they rap, and y'all got to come check us out. He was always bugging me and Dre, because Jinx is Dre's cousin. So finally one day, I think might have been Ice Cube's birthday, and he was having a backyard birthday party. And so me and Dre was like, we ain't got nothing to do. We got some time to kill, so let's roll. So we went over there, house on Van Wyck, and they set us up, because they had a setup already in the backyard. They had a DJ set up. They had microphones. They were ready to go. And so when we came, Jinx jumped on the turntables. KD and Ice Cube, they jumped on the mics, and boom, they started doing a performance. And so we kind of looked at each other like, oh, okay, we got set up. Well, we're here now, so we got to listen. And so I'm listening, and Ice Cube jumps on the mic, and he sounds, this is no lie, exactly like me. And so I'm like, whoa, this is freaky. But at the same time, he was dope as an MC, because the way he was rapping, how he was hitting words, his cadence and all. I said, man, this dude is dope. At that time, as an MC, you don't, man, you just be like, okay, all right, young blood, you cool, you all right, are you all right? But I'm thinking in my head, this dude's gonna go somewhere. And so, they were bugging me, how that sound, y'all like that? And Dre's like, we don't have time. So Dre was like, man, I don't want to work with them. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm telling you, they got something. So after much needling and chiding and convincing, I finally twisted Dre's arm enough to bring them into our little 4-track studio we had at Lonzo's house to start doing something with them. And so that's how they, joined the crew and got involved with us, and they started opening for us. And I was, like I said, mentoring Cube and KD and those guys, and really just teaching them how to perform, on stage, and how to really put it together on the microphone when you're in the booth. And ironically, later on, in a whole different circumstance, I ended up doing the same thing for Dub C. And Dub C became my beatbox, and Crazy Tunes was my DJ. And then, some time later, Dub and Cube hooked up. They had already knew each other from the neighborhood. Plus, Cube, sometimes when we would perform where Cube and them were, they would see me and Dub and, and Crazy Tunes together. And so Cube was probably already thinking in his head, I'm gonna poach them two dudes from clientele. But eventually, they hooked up, and that's the rest is history. West Side Connect gang, and Crazy Tunes was Ice Cube's DJ. So it's all in the family. It's all in the family.
That's right. That's right. Man, it's great to be a part of all of that history, man. You know, I don't even want to ask you, how does it feel? You're a part of it, you know, but I know it feels good to be a part of all of that history and see everybody, all of these different factions and guys you knew start their own thing and different groups and put on other people and just so many, you know, the tree is just, the tree runs deep, you know what I mean? Just from you and Dre to everything that came after that, you know, to what we know as the West Coast hip-hop scene.
Yeah. Think about the Wreckin Cru family tree, right? You start with us, you know, and Lonzo first, and then Dre, LME. Then, you know, you move to Battle Cat, because a lot of people don't know Battle Cat was also a member of the Wreckin Cru.
Yeah.
He was in that second installment of the Wreckin Cru. Then you go from that to, you know, Dre with Ruthless and Easy and you know, all of those guys, that whole line of, you know, people that are involved with Ruthless Records. Then from there to, you know, Death Row and everybody, Snoop and the Dog Pound and more, and all those people involved with Death Row. Then from there, you know, you branch off in with, you know, Bone Thugs and Harmony with Ruthless Records, and then you got 50 Cent and Eminem, Aftermath. And then eventually that with Aftermath. Then that leads to Kendrick and you know, TDE, and so the tree is so robust and so wide that it sometimes I sit back and go, wow, it's amazing. And it all started from, you know, Lonzo having an idea and me happened to come up and, you know, getting a contest at Eve After Dark.
And then I didn't want to forget about, because you mentioned Unknown, who hooked up with 8 and Compton's Most Wanted. You know, the Compton tree, you know, like that before all of that, the Compton shit runs King T and, you know, the whole Compton tip, you know, and being from the city, not only just everything we spoke about the West Coast Tree and Foundation, but Compton pretty much started a lot of that, even though the South Central scene took on big, but that started with Ice Cube. But Compton sprung pretty much all of that. Compton is, safe to say, the hub of West Coast hip-hop, you know, definitely gangster rap, as they call it. You know what I mean? Even though it took off in South Central, everything started in Compton, and to this day with Kendrick, you know, leading the pack. So Compton has an incredible history. Go ahead.
Compton is so phenomenal in terms of the people, the talent that has come out of Compton. I mean, you know, from sports. I mean, come on, Venus and Serena, and, you know, the basketball players. And, you know, football
numerous
players,
basketball players.
And, baseball players, and I mean, you name it, man. There's so much talent that comes out of the city of Compton, and it truly is, like you say, a hub city. And, you know, me growing up in Compton, going to Vanguard Junior High School, work. I used to work in the summers at Compton High School, and you know, serving food. I had a little, you know, like a part-time job, you know, when I was like 13, 14 years old, you know, serving food, you know, in summer school, and in like a work-study program, and just, you know, being a part of the city and everything else. You know, you hear so many, you know, negative things about Compton, but there was also a lot of positive stuff and a lot of good people as well, you know, coming from the city of Compton, that I learned from professional, you know, black people when I was growing up, who owned boats and who owned houses and who owned, you know, mobile homes and trailers, who would go on camping trips, you know, on the weekends, or you know, attend, you know, fly, you know, different places around the world. So it wasn't just a place, you know, of, you know, bad stuff happening. It was also a place where a lot of good stuff happened as well.
Yeah, I'm proud to say that I'm from Compton. I went to Centennial in Willowbrook. Yeah, I went to Centennial in Willowbrook. So I was your rival.
Willowbrook. Yeah. We used to play them in sports all the time.
Yeah, so I'm proud. I'm always proud to say that I'm from Compton, born and raised in Compton. So because it is a good place. It has a lot of good. A lot of good landmarks there, some that have been torn down, but the memories of them are still there. Let me just ask you this before we end the show. You said a book signing. I'm in North Carolina, and I know you're not going to come out here for a book signing. So how can I get a book signed and sent to me. I mean, we could do a transaction, however, but I would like to have a signed copy as well.
That's a good question. Check with me offline because we're working something out about that now. You're not the first person that asked me that. I even had somebody all the way in Siberia ask me that same question, and a few other people have asked that question too. How can I get a signed copy? And I think we have a solution on that. I think we have a way to work that out. But yeah, check with me offline.
You could just sign her a book. I'm sure you got one right over there in the cut. That's Queen. You just sign her and send her one. You know what I mean? That's Queen Jean right there.
Right.
That's Queen Jean clientele. Just sign her and send her one in the mail, man.
We follow each other on Instagram. I can send you my information. So just let me know how you want to do it. But I am interested in reading the book, though. Thank you, G-Lew.
Sound like a winner.
Wink.
Sound like a winner.
Just send her one, man. Hey, but let me go to the phone line. We got a caller, a special caller. I'm sure he wants to holler at you and have some history as well. Caller, hello. You're live with Clientele.
Man, I know you only got a little more minutes left. G-Lew, Queen Jean, DJ Clientele, what's going on with you, man? Listen, man, I'm going to be real quick. You know, you was talking about that family tree, man. I'm just going to name my family tree. Coolio, DJ Aladdin, Scotty B,
yes, sir.
Mixmaster Spade, Toddy T,
yes,
King
sir.
T.
Yep.
Yeah, the Alcoholics, J-Roll.
Yep.
That's where Rev Ali come from. Radio Joe Cooley.
Man. That's right.
Yeah,
that's what's up, man.
I'm sure I done ran into you, man. I can't remember, man. I've known Aladdin since like back in like 87, and then I got real close to him in 90, and then me and Scotty and Coolio and the whole crew, man, Breeze, all of us, man. So I just wanted to, the Uncle Dam's Army, Roger Clayton, rest in peace. You know what I mean? And so I love you, man. I appreciate you still here doing your thing. I didn't really want to say too much because I wanted to let you go ahead and tell that good, humble story and the peace and the truth about it, man. And so I just want to say, man, I'm glad you're still here, man, doing your thing, man, and you helped kick in the door just like everybody else that gave you an opportunity. You did your thing, and like you talked about Joe Cooley really being dedicated and coming back, and he's still on that same scratch. He's still on that same scratch today. I talk to him all the time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I love you, man. Much love to you, man. I hope I see you soon, man. God be with you.
Yeah, we definitely got to link up, man. But yeah, you absolutely right, man. We definitely connected for sure, no doubt.
Yes, sir, man. One love to you, man. I'm just grateful you still here, man. That's the main thing.
Thanks, family. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Sir. All right, G-Lew. I love you, G-Lew. Queen Jean, hugs to you. You know what I'm saying? G-Lew, I did 15 push-ups. Now I'm going to do 15 more, man.
20 more, man. 20, dog. Put the dub on.
Okay, I'm going to do 20 then. I'm going to do 20. I'm going to bust them in increments.
All right.
All right, one love, man.
All right, Ali, man. Much love.
All right, take care.
Love you, boy. Peace, man. Shout out to the Reverend Ali. Also, shout out again to my boy Jeff Quan out there, man. Makes it all happen. BTP Media, shout out to Tweed, Cadillac, 93 Point Tweed FMism. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, man. Tweed has a cold show on Thursdays, Clientele, oldie show, man. He interviews all the legends from everybody. I don't know who he hasn't had on there, Queen. Like, Tweed has everybody on there, all your...
Everybody,
everybody. So Tweed has a great show on Thursdays, man. Tune in 7 and 9. Yeah, it is. Check him out if you get time, man. He's on Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific, 93 Point Tweed FM ism, man. So shout out to the Tweed.
Sure.
And anything else, Clientele, you want to plug or we didn't speak on? Just let the people know your handles, all that, where they can follow you and get at you.
Okay, yeah, I can, let people know where they can follow me at. So you can follow me on Instagram at DJ_CLI_N, so Nancy again, _TEL. Again, that's DJ_CLI_N_TEL. Or Twitter, same thing. You can follow me there as well. And, I try to update folks on the things that I'm doing. They can also follow me at one of the movie projects I'm working on Instagram is Blazed and Amused. It's a 420-friendly comedy that we're working on. Right now we're in pre-production on that, and also a movie about Albert Einstein, the life of the iconic, astrophysicist and professor and genius Albert Einstein that I co-wrote.
Oh my God!
With a friend of
That's
his
deep, ain't it?
his grandson. Yeah, his grandson's best friend. So we're doing that right now, and we're making some things happen. DJ Yella and I, we got a project in the works. I can't say too much about it just yet, but folks will be pleasantly surprised about what we're doing. Hip hop don't stop. So we're gonna keep it pushing, and I'm still lecturing at the different colleges and universities. I was just at LA Film School not too long ago, lecturing over there. At Cal State Northridge, been in New York at different colleges out there, Monroe College out there, and stuff like that, and in different places. I've been to Japan and Germany, just letting people know about hip hop, man, and really just trying to be an advocate and a disciple, for the culture, and more specifically, the West Coast, so that our story is preserved and recorded for all the history. That's what's up.
Right.
I just wanted to say this. In our home, no disrespect to the race, the white race, but my father, that would be the only picture he said that he would have in our home was Albert Einstein. And that was the only picture, that wasn't a black art that we had in our home was Albert Einstein. So when you said it, that's why I was like, oh, my God.
There have been some interesting meetings that I've had around that project. I've actually even met with the Israeli Film Commission, and it was an interesting conversation. That's all I'm going to say to that, because I don't think coming through the door they expected one of the producers and co-writers of that project to look like me.
Exactly, right.
But
wow.
They were gracious about it once I got in there.
Right.
And so it was interesting. I might even do a documentary just on the making of this particular movie, because it's interesting. Anyway.
Yeah, just let us know. And also,
yes, please.
You can you can also tune in with us on Sundays for our fabulous OG Lowrider show. We have it every Sunday, same time as this show. Just tune in with us and check us out. It's a great show. We listen to a lot of oldies and we do some jive talk, but it's a great show. So tune in with us on Sundays. If you get the opportunity, and check us out. And if you do, let us know that you're with us, and press 1 so we can, give us a shout out so we can shout you back out.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
DJ Clientele. Hey, Clientele, before you get out of here, can you give us a drop for the G-Lew show that we can have for the archives, please?
Sure. So check it out, y'all. You are listening to the G-Lew show, and this is DJ Clientele. It's hot, it's happening, it's popping. Tune in, and you're going to get a treat every single time. Word up.
That part. Thank you, sir. Man, it was great. Yeah, it was. And it was a great episode, man. We appreciate you, man, just joining us tonight and giving us your time and your history and your story, man. This was definitely one of the better episodes, man, and we definitely appreciate you, bro. You're a legend, and much continued success. And man, everything you've done for the culture, we appreciate, man. You know what I mean? And we'll be tapped in. We're gonna make sure we plug the book, get the book. And we hope more things come, and we hope you come back when you have time, man, as well. We really enjoyed you.
Yes. Will. I'll be more than happy to. Yeah, I'll be more than happy.
Blessings to your prosperity.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And same to y'all too, man.
DJ Clientele.
Thank you.
Yeah. DJ Clientele, y'all go follow him now on Instagram, all your social media sites, and download his music if you can, man. He has some classics, man. That album you put out, which I played, it was some more I wanted to play, which I will play. We're in the after hours. I want to play some music. But that album was classic, man. I'm glad you put that out. Yeah, man. That was classic, man. That was a classic. I think they slept on that. I think that was slept on, man. That's a classic.
Yeah. Miss that technical sound, you know, that tech music. And miss that sound because that's some good sound. That's some good dancing sound, that tech music. Really it is.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's old school, but it's good school.
Yeah, like that. I like that.
That part. Thank you again, man. We really appreciate you, bro.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, peace and love.
Yes, man. Yeah, peace, man. The legendary DJ Clientele, man. Westside Wednesdays. It's another one, y'all. Once again, sponsored by BTP Media Group, 93 Tweed FM Ism. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, man. I'll be there. Queen will be there. Shout out to Jane out there. Hope you're feeling better. Shout out to Ali. Shout out to Dee Dee Harrison. Shout out to my homeboy Big D. Celebrated a birthday. Everybody out there. Shout out to our special guest from Sunday, Mama Boo Boo. She said she'll be tuned in. Much love to her. And shout out to Boo Boo. What up, though? And everybody else who tuned in. Queen, you got any shout outs or anything you want to give? I know we don't have the announcements. We'll have those Sunday. Let me say this. Possibly we may not be on Sunday. I'm not sure yet, but we may not be on because I got to go see my daughter. She has an important ceremony that day, and I'm going to try to work everything out. I'll let you know in the next day or so, everybody out there. But if we don't, please forgive me. Please forgive me. You know, it's my daughter. She's having a important ceremony. I'm there for her. Yeah. So, you know, I'm not positive yet, but I'll definitely try. But if not, just forgive me and know we'll be back next week. You know, just I'm just putting that out there now. You know what I mean? But I'll let you know. But Queen, you got anything? Any shout outs or anything? You got a lot of family out there. Shout out to your goddaughter. I know she has a show. Anything you want to plug, you know, holler at the people, Queen.
I just hope that this impeachment be successful. I probably shouldn't say that.
Nah, that's real talk too. That's real.
And
I'm just scared though. The main thing I'm scared about is impeachment and Trump. And you know, whenever he gets out of there, who do we got to come in on the other side though? It's sketchy. You know what I mean?
And I'll take
if he gets
Lil
impeached.
Wayne.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just
all right.
saying, you know, anybody for me is better than number 45. So I just hope that impeachment be successful for real. I really do, because it's just been a disaster. And we want to send our prayers out to Juice WRLD's family. That's a total disaster, that whole situation. Yeah. So prayers out to him, his family, his entourage. Yeah. And also, you know, just prayers out to everyone who's experiencing the loss of a loved one, especially this time of the year. It can just be so devastating, and it's more painful when you lose someone during these times of the year. And I speak from experience. It's painful.
Yes, I know you just lost someone as well. Rest in peace to your
my friend. Like, it was just, you know, that was a great loss. And what I did learn from that, though, is that
okay, I think we lost Queen Jean. I think we lost Queen. Let me do this. I'll be right back. It's Westside Wednesdays. You know we're in the after hours. I'm tripping, man. I had a couple drinks. We'll do this and come right back.
We're right here on the G-Lew Show, BTT Media. This is the one and only first female DJ in hip-hop. Said to be yours truly, Uncle Jam Tommy.
Yo, this is Marcus T from Timex Social Club, and you're listening to the G-Lew Show.
trying to trip, hitting mad dip. Still got the 9 clip strapped to my hip. I bust a left on Avalon. I'm just a brother trying to come up in the belly of Babylon. I'm going to get my loped out homie. I picked the fool up and the nigga dropped the dub on me. Now I'm feeling no less than fresh as we roll to the set for the ladies to impress. And while I'm bailing through the dough, eyes cutting my way. Hey fool, what you staring for? You better step aside and let me pass. Cause if you don't, I'm a chunk on that ass. Breaking fools off like a loped out G. Breaking fools off like a loped out G. Breaking fools off like a loped out G. It's like stepping to your death if you step to me.
Cause you know there ain't no fate in me. I'll give you more than what you wanna see. Don't you ever come my way if you don't wanna pay.
Breaking fools off like a loped out G. It's like stepping to your death if you step to me. Headed back to the crib. Freak blowing up my pager wants to give me the deal. She say she feeling kinda lonely. Well, give me 15 and I'll be on the scene. Pulled up at a house about 1:30. On point, cause I know the freak can work me. Fool sitting across the street in the L. Over to me, he bailed and say, you ain't you clientele? I said, yeah, who wanna know? He said, you fucking with my woman, so I think you better go, ho. I grabbed my 9, he grabbed his 10, but I was too fast and laid him out when I chunked on that ass. Breaking fools off like a loped out G. Breaking fools off like a loped out G. Breaking fools off like a loped out G. It's like stepping to your death if you step to me.
Cause you know there ain't no fate in me. I'll give you more than what you wanna see. Don't you ever come.
Welcome to the city of sin. Living in the city of angels, and you'll still hear them sing. Welcome to the city of sin. Living in the city of angels, and you'll still hear them sing. Lullaby to the night.
I'm in the cut like lacerations. I'm on my abrasions. That mean I'm on my scratch getting paper. What I created dominates. Discern and concentrate. Kill off anything they say to tolerate. They label my vocabulary amusing. I pack more knowledge than computers. I'm deadly. Ride beach cruisers through the atmosphere and kill MCs like a lion going after deers. Prepare. Catch me chilling like December. Up against the #1 contender as I enter. Plus I get heated like kitchens. Watching out for judges and convictions. The police get around like bad sickness, trying to give out a sentence. Knowing that some niggas dislike you and rather shoot you than fight you with sniper rifles. And it's a cycle. My brain waves is brave, cause I'm a leader like Tubman when she led the slaves. I'm all ready to put work in. Take 10 steps and turn to shoot the first nigga searching. I'm like, what up? It's not a game. I ain't playing, I'm entertaining. Little nigga, I can train you. The city, blue fitty, matching my blue city. A beach full of real niggas, the greatest of MCs. Long Beach, only city of G's. And everything in Long Beach is always what it seems. Don't ever think it's cool if you come from out of town. Cause I'm down by law and I'm always beach bound. 2-1, I serve too many people. 2-1, 2-1, I serve too many people. And when I finish serving, there won't be no sequel. Like, baby, yeah, baby. City of the hardest G's, this LBC you can hear when I speak, starting the movement. Oh, you trying to move, I keep you moving. The original Long Beach style, I'm the son of God, so how the fuck I've been crucified out? Now, out the clear blue sky, I can't deny. Every day goes by, I can't die, and that's no lie. My light is bright, I tell the youth to keep away from the darkest creatures with evil, devilish features. Mentally, I've retained all the scriptures. A real nigga opposite of anything that's fiction. I don't be in packs like abs. I sit and school you kids like dad, and on the heal your wounds like scabs. Got blood homies even though I'm crippin'. And all of your actions, they always come with consequences. Now you're faced with the forbidden, haters and snitches. So I explore new terrains that remain unseen throughout the picture. Bust like a fofo with my verbal cold flow. The Long Beach East Side, the only city that I know. For sure, I give it to you from the porch. Motherfucker, sent to Lewis Corner where it start. I disrespect you, dissect you, it's real. I physically kill your physical and leave you breathless. Don't want no problems, only thing you should stay hitting them C's like a fist. The greatest of lyricists. Long Beach, only city of G's. And everything in Long Beach is always what it seems. Don't ever think it's cool if you come from out of town. Cause I'm down by law and I'm always beach bound. 2-1, I serve too many people. 2-1, 2-1, I serve too many people. And when I finish serving, there won't be no sequel. Like, baby, yeah, baby.
G-Lew, what's up, fam? It's Big Link, post get me down 54th and Van Ness, listening to the G-Lew show. The topics are real and famous, whether it's live from the pen or on the city blocks of habits and lighters. When the lights come on, Westside Wednesday, from 7 to 9 on 92.3 live radio with G-Lew and company. You heard me, bro.
Westside Wednesdays, the G-Lew Show, Blog Talk Radio. Say the shit don't stop. The shit don't stop. 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific, 10 to 12 Eastern. Broadcasting live. Back on the Westside Wednesdays, G-Lew Show. Same name, same gang, same OG flow. Ain't a damn thing changed, we just added some more. New beat, new heat, we about to blow. Let me take it to the west side, ride it slow. Hit the switch on the 6 side to side we go. From the city to the valley, all the way to the bay. Every Wednesday night, this is the station they play. Call 914-803-4001. But don't forget to press 1. Now you're logged in, blogged in the OG Lew. On the G-Lew Show, mic check 1, 2. It's the G-Lew Show, Westside Wednesdays, OG Radio, OG Music. Every Wednesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific, 10 to 12 Eastern. Blog Talk Radio, Brick City Productions. The G-Lew Show, the voice of the streets, the talk of the streets, the show where they doing it at. Church.
songs get laid down on Westside Wednesdays, OG Sundays, Flashback Fridays. We're cruising with G-Lew, fabulous lowrider oldies. So just let me introduce myself. I'm Chewy Cadillac, baby. I drink up all the Hennessy you got on your shelf. We got to keep it fly, P.I., and you know why.
Brennan's a villain, and you're just a hostage. So whenever I'm stepping, cover your head like an ostrich. Groupies been waiting for this, suckers been hating for this. You know why? Cause so many y'all relating to this. Jealous is how they're feeling intentionally, but they'll start to love it because I made it eventually. Pumping the music, I keep the music like pumping, cause Ren ain't in it for nothing. I keep the average crowd jumping. Yo, you know the color, the villains in black. Always down, I make noise and attack, so you better get back. Unless you wanna come with it and make your face like a target and close your eyes when I hit it. You're screaming with fear, but it's with fear that you're screaming. You're waking up in a sweat, cause Ren is giving bad dreams. And I'm not scheming, I'm just telling the facts. That's how it is when NWA starts to jack. So brothers, they wanna scrap with me. That squeezing and sneezing won't last a lap with me. Especially begging to write some lyrics with me. I just snatch your girl to take a nap with me. Cause when it comes to Ren, there's no comparison. And if you try to be me, it's quite embarrassing. But I understand cause you're mentally slow. Cause I can tell from the jump, you're too nervous to go. If it ain't rough, it ain't me. Gangsta's black and he's about to attack. If it ain't rough, it ain't me. Let me bust a freestyle then. I bet. I can tell that you're afraid to fight me. Simple because you lost the crowd. And they had to invite me because your sweat is a puddle. But they're the puddles of sweat. I'm a threat, so get a cold rag and wipe your neck. And clean the dirt off your face, it calls acne. It's ridiculous thinking that you can jack me. This is a round where the punch will go until your H-E-A-D that's known as a blow. I'm making a point, but it's a point that I'm making. Like, see, I'm hating the fake, and I keep the suckers like shaking. Scared to speak with a thought when they're chosen. The sound of my voice in their ear and they're frozen. This is a battle to the death, it's like the same old. Against a brother on a tip with a cane go. Giving them pain, but it's with pain that I'm giving. But I'm comparing and tearing them, but I'm making a living. With the hype of a 9-volt battery. And the odds for me to conquer is averagely good. Meaning I'm a flow. I'm from the streets, so yo, I'm ready to go. If it ain't rough, it ain't me. You're in. Gangsta's black and he's about to attack. If it ain't rough, it ain't me. Man, what you gonna do now? The do not disturb sign is in effect. While I'm thinking of a food to select to give the victim the verdict. So for the verdict, the victim slamming my vocals on a desk with the rest. Then I kick them, tell them they're guilty, and peep out the bailiff. And get a new track of drums so I can play with percussion. Pumping it loud when I perform. Yo, you wanna play in my game? Put on a uniform. It ain't a rule in the book, you have to go by. Hey, cause when it comes to cheating, yo, you should know I put fear in the heart. Cause it's a heart full of fear. Cause what you hear in your ear is something funky and clear. The Hulk was incredible, yo, but Renee was super, but now I'm ruthless. A civilian and not a trooper, but a soldier with the top ranking, giving dope material, the hell with the ganking. So play like an airplane and just jet, and keep your blood pressure low, cause I'm a threat, cause if not, I'm afraid of the show that you're a sucker, and you're too nervous to go. You're in. Black, and he's about to attack. You're in. Black.
Out of St. Pete, Florida, and I'm rocking with G-Lew, Westside Wednesday. Holla.
It's Xavier Jordan.
Hey, check it out. Call it 404-914. What up? You on OG Radio? Yay. G4, baby. Oh, what's up with it, man? What's up, 40? What up, man? Shotgun sipping on the 40. What up, man?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling out, listening to the show. Hey, man, I love Westside, man. I'm sitting here listening to you just say that, bro.
California love, I'm about to run another lap. This my second time around, that's why I sound like that. I'm the underground king, wear the crown where I'm at. Got a pocket full of stones, 4 pounds for the strap. Got shot, do the shooting, even got shot at. But I ain't glorifying shit, I'm just stating the facts. Got put on in 89, right here in the back. Nothing to hide, that's why I wear the west side on my back. East side of the bricks, where the real G's at. All the homies like Pops, bring that real shit back. I'm a product of the block, yeah, the soul of the trap. Hard Rock Cafe, had the fiends running back. I had a good run until I ran out of luck. It ain't no fun when the police got your hands in cuffs, but enough is enough, I've said all I can say. Your homie, turn that cube up, today was a good day.
From the west coast to the east, let the bass roll to the beat. You feel me? To everybody that ain't got no friends, it ain't a problem, you can roll with me. Yeah. From the west coast to the east, let the bass roll to the beat. You feel me? To everybody that ain't got no friends, it ain't a problem, you can roll with me.
They say the good die young and the old die broke, and the rich live forever, but that shit would never know. Coming up, I couldn't wait for the day that I could grow. From a boy to a man, I couldn't stand being broke. Chose to stand alone, so on my own I ride. Cause in the end, ain't no friends gonna really hold you down, right? It's me against the world, Pocky said that right. Rolling up that OG, yeah, we bout to take flight. I'm on my marathon, shout out the young homie Nip. That's the hardest rapper out of LA, reppin' that crib. I represent the bricks, yeah, and that's for life. Casanova Broadway, yeah, for sure, that's right. I've been all around the world, so the world is mine. Waited in a long line for my time to shine. Now I'm about to ride till the wheels fall off, and the only way to stop me is to kill me off, homie.
From the west coast to the east, let the bass roll to the beat. You feel me? To everybody that ain't got no friends, it ain't a problem, you can roll with me. Yeah. From the west coast to the east, let the bass roll to the beat. You feel me? To everybody that ain't got no friends, it ain't a problem, you can roll with me.
G-Lew, California Love Part 2.
Tomorrow's production available in today's market.
California Love Part 2. Dedicated to the coast. DC boy for life. On the west coast, from the west coast to the east.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to go to the phone line. We got somebody checking in. 702, what up with it?
What up, Big Pop? Me, Spike from Big C. What's happening, homie?
Big Spike, what's up, homie?
You just want to do a shout out. Doing a good job, man. Sounds good. Looks good, man.
Everybody out there listening, this is my homeboy, my big homie, Big Spike, OG Spike, Eastside Brick City Boy Original Project. Tell the people what's up,
Vegas in the house. Vegas in the house, boy. I'm with you, man. Hey, dude, I'm just glad. I mean, everything's going good with you, dude. That song just threw me way off, dude, man. Gracias, bro. Gracias, man. Want to shout out Snoopy, Woody, Boogie, Bugs, Briggs, Pop, Smokey, Stranger, Turtle, Casper, Wicked, fucking Villains, fucking the OGs, the Alhambra Models. Hey, homie, for life, brother. BCB for life. Remember that, homeboy. Even in Atlanta, brother. Vegas, do it up every day. 24/7, homeboy, all day long, baby.
You know, the biggest question I ask is comparing Tupac to Nipsey. See, Tupac didn't live long enough to do his. He had the right blueprint, just like Nipsey. Nipsey lived his. He did that because he started in that corner, and he turned it. It ain't hard to do. And what makes it feel so bad, a lot of these older rappers have been around, they should feel bad, ashamed of themselves, man, because this was the plan from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully now everybody can get back to the plan. You know what I'm saying? The cars, the Bentleys, the juries. No, buy something in the hood, man. Let's buy the hood back, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not running from the hood no more. You know what I'm saying? We're coming back to the hood to buy it back, to do better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't know who's swimming naked till the tide come in. Where your hoes at? Where your rolls at? Where your backbone, nigga, where your code at? Where your down since day one real bros at? Where them stories that you tellin' unfold at? Where your heart, nigga, where your soul at? We got old school ways we expose that. Ain't no guarantees, but you know that. Niggas die every day, can't control that. King Griffey throwback, nigga had to go left. Musta popped 28 times cause it's 4 left. If it's about mine, ain't a nigga that I won't check. Run through your hardest homeboy, you could go next. 85 cut dog, hustle had the Rolex. Chain on my white tee, now you see the progress. Stacked every chip on myself, time to collect. All money in, just imagine what I gross back. Fuck where your hoes at, where your rolls at. Where your backbone, nigga, where your code at. Where your down since day one, real bros at. Where them stories that you tellin' unfold at? Where your heart, nigga? Where your soul at? We got old school ways, we expose that. Ain't no guarantees, but you know that. Niggas die every day, can't control that. That's why I call my thing the marathon, because I'm not gonna lie and portray this ultimate poise like I've had it figured out. Nah, I just didn't quit. That's the only distinguishing quality from me and probably whoever else going through this or went through this or is gonna go through this, is that I ain't quit. I went through every emotion. I went through every emotion with trying to pursue what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I think that what's gonna separate whoever's gonna try to go for something is that you ain't gonna, you're gonna really take the stance if I'm gonna die behind what I'm getting at right now. Fuck where your hoes at, or where your rolls at, where your backbone, nigga, where your code at. Where your down since day one, real bros at. Where them stories that you tellin' unfold at. Where your heart, nigga, where your soul at. We got old school ways, we expose that. Ain't no guarantees, but you know that. Niggas die every day, can't control that. I think that our reaction to being disrespected, we have to reassess how we react. You know what I mean? I think that we've been known as hip hop to make songs. And that's a part of it. I mean, we gotta go a step further, because I think that it's like a disease in your body. Once you start giving it a treatment, it'll get immune to the treatment. And you gotta try something else to kill that disease. So I think protest music is important. I think that YG was a genius.
Drinking 90 proof on the roof, tripping off Sherm. Collect calls to the tilt, singing how you changed. Or you a Muslim now. No more dope games. I just got the phone call, heard you got bail. Wanna go to the mosque, no time for females. I'm losing touch with my homie, he's a changed man. He hit the pen and now no sinning is the game plan. When I say I'm living large, all you see is the struggle. When I say I'm still thugging, all you see is the trouble. Congratulations on the wedding. I hope your wife knows she got a player for life. And everybody miss you. I know we grew apart, you probably don't remember. I used to think for your sister but never did get with her. And I can see us after school we bombed on the first play of haters with the wrong set on. Now the whole thing's changed, cause we don't even kick it. Got a big money scheme and you ain't even with it. Knew in my heart you was the same young brother that when it's time for Wogo toe to toe and watch your brother's back. I can't even lie, cause I ain't laughing at you. You trying hard to maintain, but go ahead, cause I ain't mad at you. 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 We used to be like distant cousins fighting, playing dozens, whole neighborhood buzzing. No, that we wasn't. Used to catch us on the roof or behind the stairs. I'm getting blitzed and I reminisce on all the times we shared. Besides bumping and grinding, wasn't nothing on our mind. In time, we learned to live a life of crime. Rewind me back to a place was much too young to know. I caught a felony loving the way the guns flow. And even though we separated, you told me to wait. Don't give nobody my loving while I be locked up state. I kissed my mama goodbye and wiped the tears from a lonely eye. Said I'll return, but I gotta fight to fix the ride. Don't shed a tear, mama, I ain't happy here. I blew trial, no more smile for a couple of years. They got me going mad. I'm knocking busters on their backs in my cell, thinking, hell, I know one day I'll be back. But as soon as I touch down, I told my girl I'll be there, prepared to get loved at. My homies wanna kick it, but I'm just laughing at you. Y'all play too many games, and I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you.
Forgive us for living while all my homies stuck in prison, barely breathing, believing that the world is a prison. It's like a ghetto we can never leave. A broken rose giving bloom through the cracks of the concrete. So many other things for us to see, things to be. Our history so full of tragedy and misery. To all my homies never made it home, the dead peers I shed tattooed tears for when I'm alone. Picture us inside a ghetto heaven, a place to rest, finding peace through this land of stress. In my chest I feel pain coming sudden storms, life full of rain in this game, watch for lead thorns. Our unborn never got to grow, never got to see what's next. In this world full of countless threats, I beg God to make a way for our ghetto kids to breathe, show a sign, make us all believe, cause I ain't mad at you.
For all the homeboys that passed away,
I ain't mad.
All the homeboys locked in jail, all the people that lost a loved one this year, we ain't mad. I ain't mad at you. Hell nah, I ain't mad at you. Nah.
The following presentation is rated R.
see y'all motherfucking hands right now. Hold up, Stone. Yeah. Hold on, come back out here. Yeah. Y'all make the motherfucking noise for my day one homeboy in from J-Stone.
Thank y'all. The marathon continues.
Believe that.
Victory lap tonight, though. What's tonight, though? Long time coming up. Yeah.
Either you gon' fold or step up to the plate. When it's your time to bat, you show them that you great. Life is what you make it, hope you make a movement. I hope your opportunity survives the opportunist. Dreams, goals, aspirations. Dedicated, fuck how long it take. We never waited, we elevated. Thought we was gonna stop, we accelerated. Through all the ups and downs we been through, at least we made it. Jealous niggas hated and the police raided. Took a nigga from the block to the police station. We wrote it all down, nigga, we mapped it out. Niggas jealous cause they wanna rap, what's that about? Niggas wanna bang for the clout, what's that about? Been from the gang, get some shit I never rap about. Just some young niggas trying to make it out. On the road to riches, they was lost, we had a paper route. Damn, I wish Nip and Fast was here. How y'all die at 30-something after banging all them years? You know what we live by, nigga, we ain't had no fear. All this money, power, fame, still can't make y'all reappear. Somehow I'ma keep this marathon going. I know now it's on me, plus I'm God's chosen. I know it's a lot of niggas not going, just like I know it's a lot of trades that's not rolling. Both of y'all tell me keep this shit flowing. Who the fuck you thought gon' keep this shit going? Me, Copy, Pac-Man, Black Sam, Cuz Capone, Killer Twine, BH, and A-Damn. Hoggy left some blue faces in your casket. Adam left you a backwood roll, hella fat. I left a blue rag in the all money yen hat. YG bought an ace of spades, I poured Cleek K. We took you through the whole LA, it was Nip Day. Obama wrote you a letter, what more can I say? Stevie Son got your funeral, nigga, you the great. The marathon continues, that's what you would say.
Hey, so look, hold on 1 second. I'ma tell you something about me and this nigga J-Stone. We used to sell fake dope. Real shit. Just so we get our little 2 for 15 wig shots and go back in the studio and make records. I used to be this nigga engineer on Monday, and he'll rap. He'll be my engineer on Tuesday, and I'll rap. I'm just saying that to tell y'all, staying down, hard work can go a long way. Make some noise for my nigga one more time. Hey, now listen. Salute.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm out of here. The marathon continues. The G-Lew Show, Westside Wednesdays. Thank you, everybody who tuned in, man. I love y'all, man. I'll see y'all next week. Peace and love.
Hold on, we got a caller calling in right quick. Let me go to this caller. Caller, what up? 789. Calling from the A. You live on OG Radio. What's up?
Hello, West Coast, Westside. Yes, big up to the California Love album.
Hey, that's right, baby. California Love, you can get that at iTunes.com/G-Lew. We're going to play a little bit of that tonight, too. Go ahead, baby.
California love. Yeah, just wanted to, get a little situated what's going on the West Coast Wednesdays. Spread some buzz. Shout out to you. That's right. Radio, y'all have to check him out.
Like I said, once again, thank you for checking in. You know what I mean? Much love from the OG Radio Show. That's right. We're going to do it like this, man. We're going to be back with some more music, man. You know what I mean? And come right back on OG Radio. Got some more callers calling in. I got my homeboy Block checking in. He on the home right now checking in. We're going to be right back after this cut, man. OG Radio, Westside Radio.
Well, let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West. The school of hard knocks, every day is a test. Home of the body bags, any day could be a death. Especially when everybody is considered a threat. On a red-eye flight back to LAX. Back on my LA shit, I'm a LA vet. Got the keys to the city, every city's a set. And for 20 plus years I rep my city the best. Now what's next on the list to make the mission complete? After all this shit that popped off on the street. And all eyes on me, But I won't change sides, cause what I represent till I die. I can't lie, cause I love this shit. So even if I tried, I can't give up this shit. It's been a while since you heard somebody spit it like me, but I'm just happy that they finally freed Big Trade E. Shout out to LBC and the CPT. Lil Bam, Goldie Low, can't forget YG. Young Pops from the blocks of the BCB. Same place where they filmed the movie House Party. I'm from the era where the bangers really ran the street. Roll up, hit you up, have you scared to speak. Ben Davis or the Dickies, heavy starch in the crease. Raider hat, black Nike Cortez on their feet. When the LA area code was 213. When the Dodgers used to play on KTTV. When the Lakers used to play on KCAL, Channel 9. At the Foreman Eaglewood, I was right there in line. That was 89, then we moved to the 90s. Now it's 2014, and it still ain't hard to find me. Cali love, much love to Pop. Beats made by Dre. Give a shout out to Doc. Matter of fact, give a shout out to all them Cali blocks. From Sac to the Bay to all the LA spots. Culver City, Mid-City to the middle of Watts. Altadena, Pasadena, yeah, the valley is hot. Every alley out in Cali got a story to tell. Body bags, drive-bys, you can tell by the smell. Hit the county jail, make it out on bail. Right back to the studio with stories to tell. You know me well, I'm the same OG, and I'ma always show love to these LA streets. From Long Beach all the way up to Pomona, La Puente, Pacoima, Vicente, Simones, and Puente. From La Cienega to Venice Boulevard by the Shaw, all the way up to MacArthur Park. It gets crazy after dark, we'll relay. G-Lew putting it down for California, yeah.